Everybody is ready.
Now that the audio is open, yes.
All right,
good to
we're
go.
back.
Yep.
So last time, you all left the first island, the northernmost island in the middle of the bay. You sailed a little ways down to the southwestern island, pretty nearby. It's getting kind of late in the day now. The second island, was sort of a steep rocky incline, and you trekked your way up to get a better view. At which point you found several fiends milling about a orifice in space, uh, and there are also vines covered in fleshy, darting eyeballs, strewn across the ground coming out of that portal. Um, Portal sits between two sandstone pillars, and Alvastaver, you have used your canary to ensure that at least instant death does not occur on the other side of that portal. Um, you don't know what's in there, but right before we stopped, and as Ambergreen and Montlaurent were starting to chop and smash away at these vines, um, you were going to poke your body in there.
Yeah, I have my blade and everything still ready. I'm not
That's
relaxed.
fine, yeah.
Okay.
And if I recall correctly, you had a rope that Montlaurent had in hand. Just
Oh yeah, I actually tied him. I tied myself to his waist, so my waist and his. We're buddies.
Okay.
I was going to point it out. I'm his anchor.
I was hoping that I would actually be able to jump in before Montlaurent, who's honestly like Alvis sees as maybe the expert in this kind of thing, realizes that maybe something giant in there could pull Alvis and Montlaurent into the portal.
Yeah, this is a very quick sequence. It's here, hold this, and you tie it around his waist, and it's already around your waist, and then it's okay. I'll yank it if pull me if it yanks, and then jump, right?
Yep, exactly.
Right. So Alvis Taver is going to go first. So everybody else will stay here, and how do I move you over here again? I think I have to drag the player.
First things first, I'm gonna.
Oh, I remember. I drag the avatar from the bottom.
I'm gonna change my push to talk, so I'm not going back a page every time I press it.
Yeah, that sucks.
I also want to say it's kind of awesome that you made a map for the, in anticipation if any of us were to be dumb enough to go through here. Like, I appreciate that.
I mean, there's a portal, you know.
I know. It's just like I also know from experience and from watching this guy who reads through modules is that sometimes there isn't one, and it's usually like, no, you can't, you'll die, or no, you can't. It like somebody pulls you back because it's terrible, or
It's always such a shame when we've gotten to the point in my other group where like we're all okay with it. We accept the limitations. DM doesn't have a lot of time, but when we go like, hey, can we get what's that over there? And it's at this point it's just the book says no content there.
yeah.
The book says if I wanted to homebrew, I could put a room over there.
Yeah, right. That's always disappointing, and like
Yeah.
I feel like players don't get a chance to at least visit other worlds all that often, which is one of the reasons why I'm so like, yeah, let's do this. But like, no, I appreciate this. Thank you.
Admittedly, when I find myself in that situation, because the last few games I've been running have been modules, I'm always like, I'm going to take 30 seconds to rant about how shitty this module is. Now we can move on.
Yeah. the fucking like less than a building blueprint maps that they give you paid for.
Oh, dude, yeah. I literally had to go buy better maps for Strahd.
right?
Because the PDF is so fucked?
No,
because the
because
ones you get in the module are basically sketches on fucking napkins.
yeah,
Oh.
like I'll later I'll look one up for you and send you a picture from one, but they're really like literally less than I like. It's a paid product and you're playing online on Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds, and it's all the same exact experience as if you were playing on a vinyl sheet with dry erase markers.
Right.
Oh god.
Awesome.
Anyway, Albus, you jump in the portal. I have a map with color.
Oh gods. Okay, you do.
You are in a sandy pit. Dark. It's not like this is strange behavior.
I want to grow one of these.
You are surrounded by sheer rock on all sides. It's rather similar to the shape of the space you were just in. But it sort of, you can sort of feel that you are at less of an inclined point and more as though you are in a sort of basin here. You can't see a direct path out. It's like you'd have to probably climb up if you wanted to leave this area. There are no sandstone pillars next to this white vibrating orifice in the air behind you, and it sort of shivers like it's not sure it's supposed to exist. Compared to the one that you just leapt into, which was comparatively quite calm.
Okay.
Before you, you'll have to kind of excuse me. God, you have to kind of it, sort of sidestep out of the way to avoid stepping directly on one of them. But there are more of these vines or veins covered in eyeballs, and they sort of all converge onto this apex point where one 15-foot tall singular eyeball stares up at the sky, and the sky you see is suffused with clouds and lightning, roiling and bubbling. You've never seen clouds bubble before.
That's rad. Okay.
Uh,
Especially as a subterranean creature, I've always thought clouds were pretty neat, and so this right here, this is
who
neat.
knows how they work?
Well, it's like steam, right? I know how steam
Yeah,
works.
true.
He's a dabbling alchemist in the kinds of ways that would get him and maybe his friends hurt.
Now, that's what you see for now. It's actually very very quiet, and aside from the rumbling from the sky, quite still. Um, the eyes upon the stalks, though, they do all look at you.
Okay, Alice Taver's going to take a deep breath. He's going to look at it and he's going to go, "Oi! Aren't you a beautiful thing? Do you want to live? Cause my friend."
When you make sound,
Yeah.
the gargantuan eyeball turns, and it does so like with its whole trunk, um and looks directly at you.
Oi! So my friends are a little bit less tolerant than I am, and I'd really hate to see a wonder as yourself, not prosper. I would be happy to take a spawn or something like that to my realm, but my friends are going to be upon you and this place in due long time. And if you don't give me some means to help you, I can't.
Can you give me a let's see, maybe insight, perception, or arcana, whichever one of those you prefer.
God damn it! And I even have proficiency in it.
Darn.
So I rolled
Yeah,
a
that's a
4.
big +6. So the eye stalk does not, it doesn't speak. It obviously has no mouth, at least not that you can
Wouldn't
see.
expect it to. I'm looking
Um,
for like eye movements or.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's kind of there's a little bit of twitchiness, but it's kind of pinpointed on you still. No, you're also not getting any kind of like you might expect a little telepathy with something weird like this, but none of that is happening here. Um, it's hard to discern if this thing thinks it's some kind of actual flora or if it is in fact a creature. But if it is a creature, it does not
Okay.
seem to be replying to you.
I have an experiment.
Okay.
I pull out a short piece of copper wire, thinking to myself, and I point it towards the creature, and I give it essentially the same speech, except maybe in less words because of the Twitter rule. Do I have a certain amount of words I can speak or something, or can I be
Uh,
talking?
I think message is just like like a sentence, right? Or a couple sentences. Yeah, there's no real limit on it.
Okay, okay. If there's no limit, then he'll give the same spiel because this should give it the ability to reply back.
Okay, so yeah, yeah. Okay, so it can reply in a whisper that only you can hear. I see. So, you make your whisper. You don't really have to whisper in a location like this where there's nothing around you. But that's just how the spell works. And you when you use this cantrip, you can kind of like get a very slight sense of when it uh
Clicks, and when it doesn't,
cosmically makes contact with the target, right? Um, uh, and you feel that, and then you get the click back, but you essentially hear static, white noise. There's just a droning sound, um, that it is at the volume of a whisper, um, in
I
your
can be
head.
thankful for that.
What?
I said I can be thankful for that. The maddening drones at the level of what might be like. I don't know. It is a lot of opportunity for Lovecraftian sort of horror. I mean, it's still kind of creepy.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Could I roll like an investigation or nature check to like presumably suss out how I might take a living sample? Maybe big enough for me to like put in a larger sample pouch or my backpack that might, survive a retransplantation or something like that.
You can use Arcana for this one.
Arcana. Here goes nothing. That's absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the apish fiends, like literally eating these eyeballs like berries. Um, so perhaps there's a similar property there. Um, you did see some of the vines shrivel up when they were cut. So it seems maybe they still need to be connected to stay healthy.
Are they rooted in the ground?
They're not so much that you couldn't very easily pull them up. It's kind of it's almost like they're very lightly webbed to the ground
What
by
about
their
closer?
own by their own viscera.
What of when the vine reaches the terminus of the giant eye stalk?
They so yeah, it's kind of like a tree trunk. They extend from where its roots might enter the earth.
Any like small gathering of eyes or any more nuanced bit of morphology? Like it's just vines and eyeballs. Any clusters?
No clusters to speak of. The eyeballs, aside from the large one, are all rather similar in size. Not exactly the same. You think, um, just from looking around, they're all very slightly different from one another. But yeah, they're relatively evenly spaced out. Um, and then once they make it to the trunk, it kind of turns into this thick, veiny mass of uh we can hope it's wood. Um if that makes you feel better. Before giving way to the white of the eyeball.
It could be flesh. I mean, Alvis Taver doesn't really have a hold on what's exactly terrible and not. I mean, he does, but he doesn't. You remember, you had to explain to him that snorting unicorn powder, horn powder, was perhaps maybe a morally reprehensible thing.
Right. I mean, even bad guys can get grossed out a little bit though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It could be gross. Is it bleeding? That would probably make it grosser. If it's dry, then maybe not.
No, it is actually pretty dry. Although perhaps dry is not the right term, but it's not bleeding.
Okay. Alvis Taver has another interesting experiment he wants to do. He gets closer.
Okay, yeah. Give me this one more plan before I give the others their 5 minutes to do stuff while you're in here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I want to take the hand mirror I have and show it its reflection.
Okay. Um, while you're doing that, let's talk to everybody else. So, hey, everybody else, Alvis Tavern jumped in the portal. What are you doing in the meantime?
Wait, what? Oh.
Waiting.
Yeah, I'll brace myself. That said, Evergreen, don't stop cutting vines.
No, I won't.
Okay, so
I would
in
probably, for tactical purposes, start getting like a couple big chunks, like not columns, but just giant cubes of ice to the left and right of the portal, so that way, if something large comes through, it's going to at least be impeded for a moment, and we'll have a
okay,
second
got
before
it.
it's upon
We
us.
can place those on the map if necessary.
Yeah.
Um,
There should be enough slack on the rope that I can sort of like use the sandstone pillar as a capstan. So I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe one of us should throw a rope through there.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I
no-
have Alvis Taver on a rope. He's good.
Okay.
yeah. So until Alvis Tavern goes, let's see. He's got a good 25, 30 feet. So as long as you don't get more than 20 feet away from the portal, then you're good there.
Yeah, I just basically want to wedge some of the rope around, like not fully around, but like around half of the pillar to give myself a leverage point.
Got you. Okay, so yeah, and you two guys continuing to chop these things. I mean, that would take you about a minute if you're going at the base of the couple of uh tendrils leading out here.
Yeah.
Okay, so chop, 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 chop.
When they're cut from the base, does everything from that point forward die and wither up?
Oh, God. Can you... I just thought of something.
So yeah, tell me if this changes your plans after the first one. But yeah, Montlarin, I think you were the first to do it. So you get one big hack at the base, and your sword cuts through it clean as it cuts through flesh. And there's a spray, and then you watch the whole tree extending out into the material plane from where you cut the thing, very rapidly blacken and start to crumble a little bit.
I do?
No, not you, Albus. Montlarin sees that.
Oh, okay. You
Right.
just the tree, so I thought... Okay.
Okay, good. It's working. We should finish this.
Oh, God.
Yep, I'm doing it.
Okay, yeah. So if you two want to do that, you can very, very quickly delete these living vines from this place.
Maybe not all of them until I get back? QQ?
I got you on a rope. You'll be fine.
What if the thing is maintaining the portal?
I'll pull fast.
I mean, I'm a death tank.
It's already
I'm
done.
sure-
The portal
sure I'll
doesn't.
get.
What?
The portal doesn't collapse.
Oh, okay. So, okay.
But you have a lot of dead flesh strewn about the gravel out here now.
I'll start sweeping it back in the portal.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
my god. Oh my god.
So, after playing around with the thing, because I'm sure this mirror thing doesn't do anything too interesting. Does it like recognize itself or look at itself?
You see the when you do that, you see the pupil dilate, and it does, like, if you move the mirror around a little bit, it does kind of follow the mirror.
I want Montlarin to detect good or evil on this thing. I know it's from a different plane of existence, but like,
Hold on. Table talk. I already did that, and the only thing I detected was those fiends. So it is outside of my ability to detect, or is not evil.
Yep.
Well, it's through a portal, so I don't know if it works like that.
No. I mean, the vines didn't register when I hit my divine senses.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Alvis Taver's gonna peek his head through the portal, and he's gonna like bashfully ask for Montlarin and say that he needs like some help and expertise. Philosophical guidance is actually guidance is what he says. I need religious and philosophical guidance.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to say no to that request, but
Especially weird coming from me, right?
Hold this rope. And I will untie myself from the rope, hand it to Evergreen, and
I'll take it.
And mime walk my way down the rope through the portal.
Okay. Badoop.
Okay. Once he sees this, Alvis is gonna go like straight into like a negotiation spree, and he's like, "All right, I know how it looks, but I've cast message on the thing, and it seems sentient. If I use this mirror, it recognizes itself. I really need you to also look at it too, because like, I know I haven't made like myself out as like the most reasonable person, but like." It would seem senseless to kill it just because it seemed gruesome, especially if it's useful. I mean, look at all these eyes. Like, that could be useful to us. And I feel I feel this thing at the pit of my stomach where it's all like that feeling I get when like I see a piece of bread that's like mostly edible, but you could like cut off a bit of it, and the person didn't even bother doing that. They just threw out the whole piece of bread. It feels like a waste. But bad.
Table
It
talk.
feels bad.
Table talk for a second. Why would you think about killing something that lives in its own realm? You're the intruder there.
No, you guys are. You guys
No.
are.
You are the intruder in that realm where the big eye lives.
Oh, yeah. Okay, now it was.
So why would you kill it in its own realm? All you got to do is book it out of there.
Right. That's actually what some cultures would call a war crime, Aldous.
What? Wait, what?
I'll use my last divine sense though. Am I just overwhelmed by the stench of evil, or what here?
No, I didn't want to keep.
It's
No, I wanted to
it's
make an
real
argument.
bad in
not-
here.
What are you talking
But Monk, can you throw me an Arcana check with that,
Oh yeah. Whoops. Sorry. I didn't
just
mean
for
to pull it up.
a little bit more context? And no, you normally don't have to give an Arcana check, but I just want to see.
I don't know where this went. You guys were the ones who were chopping it up.
All right, so
Locations and shit.
Yeah. No. You are right. That's fair, Elvis.
you don't. So you were right when you said you don't detect but the faintest hint of noxious aura off of these stalks. But the big one there, the big eyeball tree,
Yep.
that's a big old fiend.
Got it.
And your guess in looking at the way it behaves and is shaped is perhaps these are like uh seeds, right? that would um that would extend and create more of this big eyeball. So essentially, Montlaran might think that the vines are currently inert.
Right. But left to their own devices would be problematic.
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't seem to be doing anything to us, right? Like when I stepped through the portal, it didn't react other than perhaps to look at me.
Yeah. It looked at you, but it's not doing anything. As far as you can tell, like it can't move, and neither can the vines.
Okay. Alvis. We can't let this into our realm. We should step outside and talk.
Yeah.
That's a funny way to put that. In the other room. We talk in the other room.
All right, do you guys want to step outside?
I do.
Okay, I'll
All right,
step
all right.
back through there.
There you go.
So, like, why not?
That's another fiend. Understand though that evil's a complex thing. It's possible to be good and do evil. It's possible to be evil and do good. So I applaud your perspective, and I don't want to be the kind of person to teach you the wrong lesson here. But evil spreads evil whether it intends to or not. I don't feel comfortable with the idea of letting that into our realm, even if we do decide to leave it be in peace. Yeah, I absolutely know your alignment, Albus. I smell it on you.
Uh, I do like the conversation of listen. I don't want to shit on your parade, but that's a hell portal.
Right.
Oh
exactly.
yeah, no. I get that this is a hell portal. We shouldn't let the other things come through. But given and I've already stepped through. You could close it or whatever. You distracted me, right? But given that the thing itself isn't doing wrong, this is like not letting a mushroom expand via spores or like any transplantation your species has done into our world. This would be equally as wrong. Are you an invader to us?
Can everybody besides Alvis and Montlaran who are having this conversation give me a religion or arcana check, your choice?
And I mean, what of my ancestors? And he trails off.
Alice, this is more like not stopping a weed from taking over.
Religion
right.
or
You're from
arcana?
underground.
Yeah.
This is like letting a mold or a lichen eat your ore. If you don't do something about it, it's going to cause a problem for everyone. It's not that it's doing anything wrong, it's just trying to live, but in doing so it is dangerous.
Oh no, absolutely. But what of the benefit of the mold? Like you could eat it, or like maybe you could use it for something else.
The fiends were eating it.
I'm not certain that we can safely estimate that the value it outweighs the risk here. That said, if we can close this portal, I think we can just leave it in peace, and we don't have to be the bad guys either.
Yeah, and none of you really have a particular insight on this creature's behavior.
I mean, we've just impinged on its growth. Like the other fiends, absolutely, they were going to conquer, pillage, and do other terrible things. But this vine thing just seems to be the lowest category of evil.
I would actually argue that there might be one smaller, I say as I look down at Alvis. But I think that I think that the image in your mind is wrong. I don't I don't feel like it is a dangerous thing in the way that these other fiends were. I feel like it may not be something that can be stopped if it is not stopped early. It's not good for something to subsume everything around it, no matter what its intentions are. And I feel like because we don't understand this creature, this is a situation where it could very easily do that, especially here in the Redshift zone where there's nothing else to stop it but us.
So why don't we take a transplant of it and bring it back to the experts?
Because we already know that cutting it off from its source through the portal kills it.
Oh, Naya, but you know better. How about you help me take like an actual precisioned cut? And he takes out like a scalpel. I have the tools and deft hands. He juggles it in between.
You did see one of those gorillas manage to yank out a eyeball, and it did not appear to instantly shrivel.
Right.
May I request then? I quickly jaunt back in there, ask the stock, though I do not think I will get a reply, if I may take a couple of eyeballs to place within a sack, and then I will give this to Decus upon return.
Are there any eyeballs left on the vines outside the portal in our realm?
No, you got them all already.
Oh, okay.
I won't stop you, Alvis, but I feel like this is foolhardy.
Oh.
Trying to close this. That's the thing I'm a little worried about is how are we going to do it from this side? Because I don't know how long it'll stay open if we start the process on that side. Like I could go through and burn through a bunch of vines with lightning, but
Nimbus, for this, you can give me a fresh Arcana check since this is a different subject.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, looking a little bit more closely at the structure of this portal, you can see that there is some uh interfacing between the pillars and the orifice itself, bits of static here and there. And it's hard to tell if these pillars were here by coincidence or if they were sort of appeared out of nothing. But you're pretty confident that if you knock these down, the portal will destabilize rather quickly. And if Albus Taver or Montlarin mentioned that the inside of the portal was also quite unstable in appearance, uh, that would suggest to you that it may simply self implode if not given any additional support.
I see. Like the pillars, would you guys say are kind of made of the same material as that realm you were in?
Huh? Is it?
Is it?
I-
Because I
I-
didn't go in, you did.
No,
It
no,
seemed
no.
darker,
I'm asking
right?
God.
Like, I don't think it was the same.
It was a little darker, but it is sunny out here. So
I am a subject matter expert on stone.
That's true.
I
You would know.
did live in it.
All right. So, is it the same stuff?
I mean, I've asked God. He said that I'm unsure.
it looks quite similar.
It looks quite similar. Yeah, these pillars seem to be from the realm as well.
Gives me kind of the feeling then that I just kind of burst forth into different realms and maybe kind of regretted the fact that some other tendril somewhere else opened up a portal into that gorilla fiend realm where they come and eat the eyeballs.
Exactly. This plant seems like a victim in an entirety, and I mean, it could be useful to us. What if we what if we can channel energy through these and use them as periscopes?
You said something about trying to whisper with it. Can you tell me what it said again?
Alvis Tavern makes false cheering noises, like he puts his hands together and he goes.
And what does that mean?
Oh, no idea. Would you like to, maybe talk to it?
Yeah, it's just like static.
No, I think that's kind of the problem we have here is it may be some sort of powerful creature that's interdimensional and touches in all sorts of various terrible places and then sticks itself in, a nice friendly place like this. I'm actually even more worried that if it did manifest a new eye on this side, the Redshift would make it something far more insidious.
Yeah, I agree.
And so I'd rather lower the chances of that happening by just sealing the damn thing.
Ugh.
I know, it's so disappointing to you. You want to make friends with all sorts of evil things in high places for that company you work for.
Evil, and it's not exactly for the company either. Like, you guys have actually been making a good argument that the company has been screwing me over. It would be nice to
Progress.
it would be nice to find a plant or something which really just wants to grow, and then in the same, as you might call it, evil way that we have subjugated the apple tree, plant it about in various controlled environments and
Actually,
see what
I thought it was a talking apple tree that beckoned us over to pick the apples and was all friendly.
what?
Yeah,
That should happen one time.
like a year and a half ago.
Vaguely remember this.
It's in the record somewhere. I'm sure we could look it up. But yeah,
But
I would help that apple tree if it could make a family of growing apple trees and like a whole forest of, friendly apple trees, I would totally help it do that. But that's because it's an apple tree, not a fucking interdimensional fiend that we'll never be able to understand, or at least not until it has a chance to wreak havoc upon us.
Well, yeah, but what about also the arcane research that might benefit you?
Nah, if you were gonna go in and grab a couple eyes and give them to Soriana to try to make things with, or maybe keep one to try to use for your barrel project, I could understand that. But
Maybe not the barrel project, or maybe I could learn something about the whole like the material seems right, But no, I just like there are other uses that this could be used for.
we don't.
Like
We also don't have eyes on this point. We have no idea. There might be more fiends the next time. I wouldn't want our untrained or lower trained in combat scouts to come through here and get dismembered and eaten alive because a bunch of fiends came through.
We're absolutely destroying the portal.
Yeah.
But you've also given me the same advice that you think it's foolhardy to collect some eyes.
I would say if you're gonna do it, just make sure that they're being used for a good purpose. We're certainly not gonna cook any of those.
I wouldn't. No, maybe not right away. Anyway, I would definitely want Decus to look at it.
Yep, just research purposes, alchemic purposes. As it is, we've got the acid we need here that'll hopefully be able to work the salamander giblets into the crystal form that we can use for other resources.
Right?
In fact, if we can make enough of that with this batch, then we could actually get some fiery weapons for people here. Won't work against the big guy and his kids, but it'll certainly help against other things we come across.
It'd be fun. I will try to very quickly grab a bag full of eyeballs.
These are pretty big. Like 6-inch spheres.
Oh, damn. I was thinking like billiard balls. Okay.
Yeah, it turns out they're grapefruit.
Yeah, damn.
So do you still want, how many do you want?
Maybe like 5. Like, I'm stuffing the bag.
Okay. Just give me a quick sleight of hand. It's relatively trivial to extract these with like a knife, or like you said, like a scalpel
A
sort
spoon.
of.
Gross.
You are being watched the entire time, but nothing is happening.
Before I leave, I look to the otherworldly being that screamed in my mind, and I give it a nod and a thumbs up, and I leave.
All right, you leave, and your pack is now laden with a pile of very squishy, very wet, and in
like cheesecloths,
and in this case, bloody.
to retain, mass.
Yeah, you like wrap them up, right?
Yeah.
And try to. It's definitely a bottom of the like car seat bottom of bag scenario.
Absolutely. Like honestly, if my pouch is made out of skin or some sort, like if these are actual like medieval sample pouches I'm
Yeah.
using, it might be waterproof. I might want to like maybe ask Nimbus to cast a little bit of water in there, and then I'll tighten up the pouch.
Oh, true. Yeah, I mean, yeah, relatively waterproof is most pouches would be, because, like you said, they would be made out of leather materials.
If they were made out of leather. I mean, there are plenty of examples of, pouches not made out of leather or even like made out of pieces that are sewn together that would never be waterproof.
Right. But if you have sample bags, I figure you'd have the good stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sponsored by a company that expects
Yeah.
me to give them junk because I'm, them. They're. I don't know what I am to them anymore. This is why all this is.
Slave.
Hmm.
In any case, you've got you've got a bag of eyeballs, and everybody's outside the portal. There are no more eyeballs out here except for the ones in your pack.
Yeah. I
The
will
only
aim big in
only
my
sound is
hand
the
and hack at a pillar.
okay.
I could use a spell to disrupt the earth.
Oh yeah, that works.
Even better.
Yeah, these are not very thick nor sturdy pillars. You think so? Yeah, disrupting the earth around them, or even as part of them, you think would pretty easily. Oh yeah, 16 bludgeoning will do it. Fountain of earth and stone erupts in a 20-foot cube. It's funny that doesn't say anything about like structures as part of the spell effect.
No, and I forgot to tell everybody to move first. Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, so a little bit of work. It's not very hard. You managed to crack and then topple these stone pillars, and after a few moments, has, has anybody got their hand stuck through the portal?
No, I'm back. I'm far away from it.
Have you pulled the entire rope back in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So after a few seconds, the portal starts to waver and shimmer, and then there is a great vacuum of air and a soft sonic boom as it implodes, and then is completely gone.
That's super neat. I've never seen an interdimensional portal close before.
Makes sense that it would kind of collapse on itself.
Yeah. Also the sound was super cool, like a shoop.
Now the only sound is the wind and the steaming of the ice that is embedded in the gravel nearby.
While we were here, I think I would have probably, not made the ice pillar, but sent Badath up to look around and see if there are any other outbreaks like this in the relative area.
Yeah, this looks like the only one. As far as you can see, this is the only place nearby where there are chunks of ice from somewhere, based on the way they're facing, perhaps from the east.
It didn't
That's
seem
strange.
Yeah, it didn't seem likely, but what's the trajectory for these ice pillars here? Like, did they land in a similar way? Like, I know what I'm looking for. I wouldn't expect that to. Would that help my investigation roll?
It's honestly, I'll just tell you, it's quite similar to the first island, but however, this time you are far further inland than the beach. Again, this isn't a big island. You could circumnavigate it in 1 or 2 hours. Um, but it's you're at like the dead center of the island, basically. So these would have had to come from like pretty far away or pretty high up.
Knowing the location of the first glacier or impact that I found, uh, and these ones right here, also knowing that they've been launched in some way, can I triangulate a few locations that they might have come from?
Well, if you were working under the assumption that these were coming from the same spot, um, you pretty quick like if Alvastaver tries to like take out his notes and try to like sketch that out, he would very quickly see that these clearly did not come from the same location.
Okay, I will
Yeah.
actually tell everybody about that while either they're working on the thing, and then Naya tells them about the spell and she casts it. Like he'll be working on that project while that was going on, just because it's like
Yeah,
it's a quick theory crafting that he could do with his cartography tools while everybody else does the big strong work.
yeah, and obviously you're making a few assumptions here, but like looking at the impact, looking at the way there's sort of a crater that skids a little bit, like a few inches into the dirt and gravel, where it has landed and impacted, and just the general like shape of the whole thing. You can pretty easily tell like, okay, this one would have come from the east, and it would have been some ways off, either either maybe from the beach of this island, maybe from above this island and then down, or even from the ocean, perhaps. That's impossible to tell, really.
Yeah, knowing
The
this,
previous one, almost certainly in the same way you were able to tell, probably came from the west.
okay, knowing this, Alvis Taver is gonna relay the information and say that this kind of scares him, because this means either well, this really just means that it doesn't seem like a single incident, right? And as a single isolated incident, that it might be happening multiple times, or had happened in the span of a relative recent days or something. It could be a Redshift thing.
Oh, actually,
I was thinking of a thing launched up in a single location, like a volcano or something, and now I'm thinking of something on the move.
yeah, that would actually make sense. There was that rain of daggers over Maricus before we arrived.
Exactly.
I have a
Yeah, I
feeling
saw
that
it.
could be just a weather event where instead of an even distribution of whatever precipitation it's providing, it just saves it all up and then farts out giant chunks that fall down and make big craters.
I do have to be honest. Hail was one of those things that I thought as a horrific like thing that you guys had to deal with up here before I actually moved from the underground.
Well, in places where you do have to deal with it, it can be pretty horrific. But, the community's built around it.
Well, yeah, but I also figured it would be more widespread. You see, it's like
Oh,
I
like
haven't-
there's just hail everywhere.
yeah, exactly. I haven't experienced hail nearly like ever in my time in the Empire, but I also haven't traveled to those places. So
Yeah, well, if you're afraid of hail, you can probably avoid them. So are we gonna check out the rest of this island real fast and then maybe set up a little camp for the night? Because I know it's getting a little late here.
It is indeed. And what was your plan to get in contact with Rodial and Irenaeus on their boat?
Um,
look over here! Look over here!
I would say probably just do the walk on water thing and walk over.
You could send Badath.
Okay, so you mean head back down to the beach?
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. So you'll have set up a meeting. And as far as surveying the island, you are in fact pretty close to what seems to be the highest point on this island. So it's easy to climb up a little bit higher here, hike up a little ways, and get a good look around. This particular island is rocky and rather barren. Um, small critters, crabs, seagulls, that sort of thing traverse the rocks and the sand and the tide pools around here. especially closer to the water. But like I said before, you don't really see anything that indicates a similar hailstorm occurrence here. You don't see any other monstrous creatures roaming about either. And in terms of structures or anything like that, nothing really catches your eye either. It looks like this place is properly uncivilized. Now, question before you head back down to the beach, um, are you planning to wipe out these ice chunks before you go?
I suppose I could. It would only take a moment.
Okay, yeah. If you want to, then again, it's quite trivial to do so, and you can just melt them down. They turn into water, and they'll evaporate or leach into the ground in a short time.
Poison the water table.
No, they're clean. They're clear.
No, I know.
It turns out they're filled with a transparent heavy metal.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, let me bring you back to the redshift zone. As you're getting down here. A while to load up that time.
Wow. Yeah, it just finished for me. That's crazy.
Only just now.
Yeah, so as a reminder, the little blue area is the roiling, churning water. The pink line is the route you took on your boat. So do you head back that way, or do you go go southeast instead to the beach?
South.
Well, we camped here first, right?
Well, we hadn't actually camped yet. We were going to camp in a place where we could overlook the water
Yes.
so that we could observe it overnight. And then we saw the shit going on in the rest of the island, and we're like, well, let's go check that out.
Yeah, do you still want to apply that plan to watch the water?
Yeah, if we're going to camp on this island, I definitely do.
Okay. So that would entail you going back to the southeastern edge of this island a little bit.
Damn tag will where I want. I guess there is okay.
Now
There-
it's
those are
pretty easy. It would be pretty easy for you to head down tell Rodile to meet you on whatever side and do that whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, we still want to explore the whole island too. Just where, like, even if we want to set up camp somewhere else on the island, I still want to spend my night watching that water.
Yeah,
Okay.
that'd be fun. I could be fishing too. It'll be like a late night fishing trip betwixt bros.
All right then. So working that out, we can go into nighttime. And so if you decide to camp out around here, it's not hard to find a spot. You can set up all of your things. Um, who's got rations or
We
what's
all
the roll?
have
I was gonna say I can do
rations,
the
and then he does the thing with them.
I do the create food and water trick.
Perfect. Um, delicious, tasteless, holy gruel.
I'm also trying to see if I can catch some fish tonight too. Night fishing.
Really, I just do some dinner theater while everybody eats far less.
Is that like a survival check?
That's funny.
All right then. So we'll jump straight into the nighttime stuff. So Montlarin, you're the one kind of keeping a very close eye on this business.
Right.
And it's easy for you because you've only got the 4-hour trance.
Right, and I've got those elf
Um,
eyes, so
So
Can you do it with me distracting you though, talking constantly about fishing?
what you're kind of figuring out is that the churning waters sort of obey this shape that you're seeing here. And again, it's quite hard to see further than that. But let's see. What's your passive perception?
How big is the
Perception
PG?
whiz plus 0.
It's just your perception skill plus 10.
Oh, 13. There we go.
Okay, got it. Um okay. So you you're looking out over these waters overnight. Um you can sort of in the distance see that southeastern island as the sun is setting, um or rising depending on the hour. Um and the water does not really change in behavior throughout your viewing. It is wild and angry. um and you imagine Rodile would have a hard time navigating this safely without the little boat that he sails, potentially being at risk of capsizing from it. um
Right.
um Are you looking out for anything in particular?
Well, let me just tell you what passed my fancy.
Sure.
Are we maybe looking at like the water reacting to the submerged ruins of I think it was Colas is the city that used to be on the shore here?
You do think you might be in around the right location for such a thing. Um and there's going with what where this bay was not this big in the previous epoch. um it is certainly possible that the land somehow sunk into the water, and if if that had happened, perhaps you're standing on mountaintops right now, or
Right.
hilltops. um
Maybe some
Yeah.
sort of like subsurface volcanic activity. Is it steamy or just bubbly? It's just bubbly, right?
it's wild. It's like a stormy ocean, but
And that happens when there's things just below the surface.
there's no
I
storm.
mean, like in real life.
Right.
Right.
I don't want to say the word roiling again because I've said it 7 times.
It's roiling.
Right.
That is the right word.
But that is
When
the right word.
When I think that, though, I think maybe it's hot. Or, maybe it would be steaming also.
Well,
Yeah,
that would be
exactly.
boiling, right?
Well, sure, but both roiling boil. In fact,
Yeah, the seas don't boil. Not right now.
no, they just roil. Right, it's a roily boy.
Yeah, the best way to describe it is as though it's like a hurricane. Um, except again, the skies are quite clear and calm.
Right. Right. There's no above surface correlation for it unless it's magic. Yeah. Elvis, you're hanging out with me fishing and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like maybe all of this water stuff is because there's a ruin down there.
Well, I mean, I was sort of fixated on what I could get if I were to dredge the place. Also, I think it would be a good opportunity to go down there. If you remember, yesterday, uh, in yesterday in game time, not in this time, I did suggest that under the water there could be some geological disturbances.
Right. Well, I was thinking that if we had that old map, like I think it may not be geological but archaeological.
Oh, you mean like this old map right here? And I take out my beta map, which is the one that I used in conjunction with the notes of what's her face from the dream sequences or the dream reality sequences.
The past.
The past.
You compared notes with Ferris, right?
I did. I did compare
Yeah,
notes
yeah.
with Ferris. I did like 2 or 3 times, in fact. Like it was a thing I talked about more than once. Like every time I met her.
What remind me what was added to the map during that time?
So if I remember correctly, and like this could be bullshit too, the bay itself was receded, if not like not here.
There
Yeah,
was
it's
a there was a small bay.
Okay, it was yeah, the bay was smaller, and there was a couple of cities that were added. Like for instance, I isn't this where we learned about Chose?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you for this.
Yeah, that's right there in the documents.
So it could be Colas, or it could also be no, it couldn't be that. I don't think it could be that. Yeah, no, it might be Colas.
That may actually be worth at least taking a walk off the beach if we have the magic for that.
Yeah, especially looking right here at like where the river delta near Orvis is, and how it splits off to the uh, east southeast, right? Like there's enough of like a radius here that what we could be standing on is like the tallest hills in a flooded valley.
Yeah, we should tell everybody else and see what they think about this.
Most definitely. I'm actually even more excited for once we can actually get that dredge.
Well, I'm saying we may be able to go down and see it firsthand.
Oh, yeah, that would be even better. But like, just imagine the stuff we could bring up with like an actual like wench. Like the whole reason we don't have it right now is because we have to put a crane on the damn boat.
Ah, you're literally talking about hauling stuff up, preserving it all. That's very noble of you.
Absolutely. We could preserve it all. There might be some clues or recoverable artifacts from that tower.
Right. See, my hope was that we could find new information, which you and I and the rest of the party could see with our own eyes. But preserving some of the legacy of Vesov is very noble of you.
I figure it's the best thing that my guild has me doing out here. The least confusing task, at least.
Well, I think it's a worthy endeavor, and I'll support you in it, however I can.
Thank you. I mean, ultimately, I believe that the museum idea, if it is being executed, and that wasn't a complete lie, I'll just have her trails off for a bit.
You could always start your own if it was.
Yeah. If the museum idea actually is being put together, that it's being used as propaganda, as I've suggested numerous times in my letters back to them, to send more people out here.
In fact, if you if you've thought about it, it may be worth contacting the Empire's government to see if they might want to endow a museum.
Oh, you mean like broker a deal with the Empire directly?
Well, think about what would happen after we're done here. Like if we solve the riddle of the Redshift and you have an entire open future ahead of yourself, you don't have to limit yourself to your close operations.
Open
And
future.
you would have the connections necessary to do something like that. Take it from me, that's how that stuff works. It's about who you know, and working in this expedition, why you would know everybody that mattered.
Yeah. Do
You would know way
Have the
more than
dollar
anyone
sign
at your
showed up in his eyes
organization
yet?
did.
The dollar signs are showing up in his eyes, but he's also like institutionalized and terrified of the organization, but also can't like express that.
Well, here you would have an advantage that they don't, right? You would have all of the knowledge and all of the connections, and they would have none. That's a pretty powerful position.
Yeah. You know, tying myself to a military organization and outpost like this permanently might be the safest option.
It's worth considering. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I have sent numerous letters into the organization about, being assigned just to work with Lucent, and that means here. I might as well just, ask the government, apply for a position.
Right? You could even pull 2 paychecks legally.
I wonder if I could do that. I haven't seen my contract. I don't think it's against it. He hasn't said explicitly. I wonder, sir. Do I remember anything under like explicit circumstances not to do this?
Oh god, the so there's definitely like a uh so socially certain parts of the club would heavily discourage you from seeking employment elsewhere. But
Okay.
also socially, different people at various ranks within the club would say that you're a fool for not doing so because it's not in the contract.
Huh.
Yeah, is there a moonlighting clause?
Why the
You,
am I gathering artifacts?
you've definitely heard like there have been bits and pieces of advice where essentially it goes, bro, if you're not double dipping, like why are you even what's the point of being on assignment?
I feel like I'm a corporate slave waking up to the realities of how free-ended my job is.
Yeah, that's a wrong slut word.
Interesting. Multiple connections, but still a part of the guild at large without being totally ripped off by the guild.
I think you're more powerful in this situation than you realize. I think that's really all I was trying to point out.
Maybe I could ploy my own advertisement campaign and make money from it.
Well, I mean, if you did curate a museum, not only would you have your salary or stipend from the Empire, but certainly you would collect donations and fees for the upkeep of your effort, right?
They do a thing like that, right? Right. They're called scholarships. Those aren't just given out by guilds, right? Like the man can give those out too, right?
Absolutely. My family has in fact endowed many artisans.
You're just not another patron though. You're not the Empire. That's a different.
Imagine.
You're different, right?
Dex himself is literally like a college professor.
You know what? I'm gonna ask Decus on how I could maybe apply for a scholarship while still out on the field.
And Maisie, actually.
And a what? And Maisie?
And Maisie, yeah.
I've spent more time with Decus. Asking Maisie might be, like.
Oh yeah, but they've been colleagues for decades.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I can ask both of them. be all like, yeah, okay, all right. No, this would be great. Huh. And I mean, I've been wondering, like, I could sell my map now, right? I mean, it's not like you just said, it's not in my contract. Interesting. I need to make connections with the college. You've put good thoughts in my head.
Whatever I could do to make your life fulfilling. I do seriously want to tell the rest of the party about my theory, though.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
we should do that.
It's morning in that case.
Yeah, Naya. As I was watching all the water last night, it occurred to me that what we may be looking at isn't some magical phenomenon or a redshift artifact directly, but it could be evidence of the ruins of a city that could have been here. Looking at the map from the past that we have, I think we might be right on the edge of the ruins of Colas. I was thinking, didn't you say that you can make us breathe water?
Mm-hmm.
It was swimming down there that would have been a really hard time.
I was thinking about just walking off the beach.
Yeah, and just walking on the bottom.
Right. Like, I mean, with my armor, I'm not gonna float.
I'm down for it.
I mean, we could tie an ice cube to you, but
Ice floats. Oh yeah.
in fact, I would imagine that's going to be our escape plan if we get to the surface. Like
Right.
a bunch of ice.
Well, as well, if Naya's going with you, she can just cast Water Walk,
Okay,
Right.
So when
and
he
then you go straight.
casts,
Well,
That seems a bit abrupt.
well, wait, just wait a second.
Okay, sure.
So, I have one rank 3 spell slot left.
you
I've
can cast
used one for Water Walk, I've used one for Erupting Earth, and I have one left. So I can't cast Water Walk on top of Water Breathing to fix a problem.
Aren't they both rituals?
Yeah.
Have I been doing them all along? Do I do them in the middle of the night, Serb?
Well, so I think your spell slots are correct right now. But yeah, those are both ritual spells. So if you wanted to cast them as rituals now, then that would be possible. Now my question is, can you speak while water breathing? My reflex is yes.
I mean, I remember being in a pool as a kid and being able to shout things to other friends underwater and then being able to hear it. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
you can
It
breathe.
does not say that I can or cannot.
It does say that we retain our normal mode of respiration, which implies that you're not
Yeah.
breathing water.
That is true. Yeah, okay. So I mean I don't see any reason to make it so that you can't uh use vocal components underwater.
Be right back. I gotta go pick something up.
Sure, okay.
Right. Well, if anybody's ever talked underwater, you know it's weird.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh but yeah, so like if you wanted to do water breathing as a ritual, that would save you a spell slot, and then if for some reason you needed to do water walk
Yeah,
immediately,
then I could cast it as a spell.
then you can cast.
All right. So I'll take 10 minutes to go ahead and cast water breathing as a ritual.
Now, is this going to be the whole gang going?
yeah, except Irenaeus.
It's our group, except Irenaeus and Rodile.
Right, yeah, they're handling the boat as usual. Okay.
Yeah, I figured it was everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that's the plan. I wouldn't want to send just somebody down.
Yeah, I'm going.
And it's basically, getting underwater, fully clothed, fully armed, everything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna leave my backpack and stuff because it's gonna get ruined if I don't. But like my armor,
Yeah, true.
my
Okay.
my weapons, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll leave the backpack too.
I'll assume everybody's doing it. Okay, so
I will hold on to my water breathing potion just in case.
just in case the 24 hours instantly disappear.
I mean, dispel magic is a spell.
Right. I was gonna say
Mhm.
there is ways that could happen.
Excuse me.
What if we go into the town and then there's all like a dispel magic thing inside of the
breathed water.
church?
All right,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
do the
I'm
water.
gonna drop my backpack, my bedroll, and that's it.
Yeah, all your junk.
Well, I'm not gonna drop all of it.
Are you keeping anything specific?
Yes. I'm gonna keep my armor. I'm gonna keep that special item that I have. I'm gonna keep a pouch. I'm gonna keep the rope. I'm gonna keep water. And I'm gonna keep a couple rations.
The rations are just gonna get ruined unless you have a waterproof pouch.
I
They
have
will.
not. Sir, do I have a waterproof pouch?
Uh, So, with what Albus Tabber was saying earlier about waterproof pouches,
Uh-huh.
it's more water resistant. If you are submerged in water for multiple hours, the stuff inside it's going to get ruined.
Okay, so, all right, then I will drop those. But I'm going to keep the rope, and I'm going to keep the water skin, because we might actually need to drink water.
That's a good point. Okay.
So I will no longer be encumbered for a couple minutes.
Hey. Okay. And you'll all let Rodile know that this is the plan this morning.
Oh my god, I'm still encumbered. How can that possibly be?
Um,
Oh, my armor.
is it
My
just your
armor's
armor?
50 pounds,
It is pretty.
and I'm
heavy.
encumbered at 60. Shit.
Yeah.
Damn. Okie
And
doke.
Yeah, I'm still encumbered.
I
Shit.
think the
Okay,
shield
well,
is quite a bit too.
Yeah, even dropping all of the my travel stuff, I'm at
yeah.
112.
Oh shit, that's worse than me. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm at 98.
That is how heavy armor goes.
Yeah, I'd be leaving a bunch of stuff. I'd definitely still be taking my identify pearl and
Oh yeah.
the scepter of the deep.
Okay, got it.
In fact, I'd probably have that in hand. Since I don't have, I can't bring my pouches down there. I would just be using that as my focus.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
bring my water skin because that's waterproof.
Yeah.
It's
Okay,
the
good.
future.
So everybody's leaving their water soluble items on the beach and bringing their useful stuff.
Did we just long rest? Yeah.
You short rested if you need anything.
Short rest. Okay.
So anybody who needs to roll for health, and by the way, anybody who's not topped off on their HP, we probably would have handled that by now, right?
That's true. You guys had taken some damage. So yeah, if you want to use hit dice for your short
My bad, I
rest roll.
didn't notice.
Naya, don't forget to cast water breathing on the small canary.
Yeah, I'm just gonna use a few hit dice.
It affects 10 creatures.
Sweet. So there's enough.
Okay. And yeah, you took a short rest, so again, go ahead and use hit dice if you want to.
I am also
Nice
still-
fucking 3d10.
Holy shit.
Nice.
Of course,
I mean,
my
it's plus-
Did you just
plus
level
con.
up?
my +5s help too.
No, that was just me rolling hit dice, but
Yeah.
it got me from
Shit.
a 21 to a 50.
Wow.
Yeah. Again, anybody who wants to heal, please go ahead.
That's my bad. I'm sorry, I didn't even check it.
No, it's okay. That's what short rests are for. You get those hit dice back on a long rest. Most of them. Half of them. Round
And
it
then
down.
the other
Not most.
one, I think I'm going to use Arcane Recovery, so that would be half your wizard spell rounded up worth of spell slots I can recover.
What level are you again?
7.
Okay, so 4.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna do 3 and a 1.
A 3 and a 1.
Yeah. All right. So the pretty formidable range of spells still have.
Okie dokie. Cool. Now is everybody ready?
And
I
then
am.
of
I think
course
so.
I would cast mage armor before we go.
Very good.
Badath would have been in the group to get water breathing, so we got a fiery owl
Yeah.
swimming under, diving, flying, whatever, underwater. Or bird breathe.
Right? Does it hypercavitate?
I think this would be a situation where you'd have to perch necessarily. Swim. I don't think owls swim.
I
No.
pretty much figure it's like we're all wearing a bubble over our heads,
It's
including the
more,
bird. And I don't know, did you bring Keen, Alvis?
well, yeah. I mean, if that's how you want water breathing to work for Naya, then yeah, because she's the one casting the spell.
That's pretty much how I imagine it. Because it says respiration occurs normally.
Yeah.
So I'm just imagining that everybody's got kind of this bubble over their heads.
Technically, I think that last line is just to avoid the "ha, you have gills and cannot breathe air" clause.
Yeah, it's unnecessarily complicated. There's a lot of hand wave to this. So,
But yeah, it's your spell, so you can say how it works.
okay, so that's how I imagine it.
Okay. So yeah. A couple of you might need to weight yourselves down just a tad. But you are able to just sort of walk.
I'm
and
very dense.
descend. And yes, dwarves are very dense. They say they're good at sinking because they're made of stone a little bit.
Right.
And I think we're gonna call this water difficult terrain. Because it is even below the surface, a little bit rough, and it's
Well, it's
kind of like
awkward at the very least. Everything is slow-mo.
everything is slow. You're walking
Yeah.
underwater. You're getting kind of like pushed around by these rough currents that are under the surface a little bit. Um, the deeper you go, after about 10 minutes, and you're kind of on this gentle incline going down, um, the less severe it is, but you can definitely still feel like occasionally you'll just get like a punch in the side, right, from a current that'll kind of send you on one foot, and you kind of have to push back, just to keep your balance. It's nothing that's gonna knock you over, but it's rough, and it's dark down here. Do any of
It's
you have
also fatiguing.
Yeah, do any of you have light that is not based on fire?
I have greater dark vision.
Well, yes. But for the Dragonborn mostly, and the Genasi.
I have prestidigitation.
That's
I don't
not
think
real
that makes
light.
light.
I bet I could make a light with it.
No, that's what the light cantrip is for.
I can make the cantrip, but
Albus, what the fuck happened to your spell text?
I don't know.
Um,
It has it with me. I can read it.
oh wait, it shows up for you.
Yeah, for me. So you can create a
What the hell?
non-magical trinket or an illusionary image.
I can't see
So
that.
I create. No,
Pulse
I.
fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So you can't do light with prestidigitation, and Naya, you're underwater, so I don't think that your handheld produce flame would work very well.
Okay.
So does anybody have any other options? Handy.
I do
The
not. I do
cleric,
have dark
the
vision.
cleric should have something.
I don't.
I can create illusionary light. You would
I'm
feel
not,
like you're
not a cleric after all.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't have. I mean, I the closest I would have is Moonbeam.
But that hurt.
Right. I'm also not entirely convinced it's real light. Like,
Yeah.
like what I was saying.
Looking even at what I have, like if I had stuff, I don't have a light of any sort.
Okay.
You don't
Got
need
it.
it. You have dark
Dark
vision.
vision, right? But I mean, even in my not cleric spell list, I
You
don't
should
light.
have one. There was one that like every cleric got is the basic cantrip.
I think I don't have it because of my domain.
Oh, that could be. Okay.
Yeah, no, you just didn't pick up light cantrip because you're a dwarf, you don't need it.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, well, Naya and Nimbus, you have a hard time seeing. Not immediately, but
I do have a rope. Do I attach that rope to somebody else since I can't see?
Tied to me, I'm like the perfect bobber because I still have to hold on to Mont Laren to like
a
stay
balloon.
still. Well, like I'm so light by itself, like so I figure just hold on to Mont Laren, in order to keep me like completely under because I'm like semi buoyant. I still
they
sink out all the way.
they say
I would-
say dwarves sink because they're made of stone. They say gnomes float because their heads are so full, right?
Well, it's not that they float. They're that thing. They're neutrally buoyant, right? They sort of like they tamper in the middle.
Yeah.
They're actually terrible swimmers because they'll sink just enough for them to drown, but they have to actually use their strength bonus to swim and tread water.
I would probably have Badath on my shoulder and just switch to his eyes every now
Oh,
and
holy
then.
shit! The death. Yeah. What about
Since
the
he's
death?
got 120 feet dark vision.
Well,
Okay.
but death
So I
is also.
basically flash for a moment and kind of see, and then
I thought Badath was also magical fire. That doesn't turn off.
it's a skin. It's an aesthetic skin.
But it gives off light.
Badath only gives off about 5 feet of light.
Yeah.
That's enough.
It's enough. It's enough to get by, but it's not enough to really illuminate any sizable location.
And we're not like in the lithosphere or anything, so it's like
No. Like I said, it's not. I was gonna say it's not really dark here. It's just like it's hard to see more than maybe 30 feet ahead of you without some kind of dark vision.
I hear that.
Interesting. I do have freedom of movement, but it's only for one person, and it specifically says being underwater imposes no penalties on the target's movement or attacks. But it's
Don't
1
you just
hour,
get
one creature.
that'll come in handy if we get into a fight, though.
Yep.
I thought you as a druid just automatically got that free movement for yourself too.
Yeah, it was a rank 4
Can you
druid
wild shape
spell.
into a fish?
I don't have fish yet.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Keep
No,
an eye out.
let's look for some fish. Yeah.
No, you do. You could do stuff with swim speed, Naya.
Like a trout.
Wait, what?
I think you've been able to do stuff with a swim speed for a while.
Shit, really? I could do crocodile. That's the only fish type thing I have.
Crocodiles.
That's the only combat swimmer you have. You've seen fish.
Yeah.
Crocodiles swim in the ocean.
We just didn't give you fish at the start because you couldn't do swim speed yet, and at this point, being a fish is not a useful.
Wild
stat block
shape
most of the time.
lasts half my druid level rounded down, so 3 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you can turn into a fish if you want.
It just occurred to me that the right kind of fish should see better down here.
Oh,
Right.
that's totally true. Or you could be like Mr. Limpet and like hit bad guys with your voice.
Don nods.
All right. Do you want to turn into a fish?
Not right now.
Okay. Um.
What do we see with our underwater eyes?
But
So
see with your fish
you are
eyes.
traveling kind of gently downhill, and well, can everybody make a perception check? Good job, Naya.
God damn.
Just +7.
Ambergreen, you got a disable advantage,
Aw, shit.
but you still got a 22 on that roll. It was an 18.
Wow.
Gotcha.
Isn't it so cool being underwater, Montlair? Like, look at that. And look at that. And look at this.
But the sound is warbly.
Yeah, pretty much
Like,
just like that.
you can sort of understand each other.
Mostly we'll have to do miming. Pantomime.
You're just continuous gas message.
Naya Ambergreen, it's not long. Maybe a half-hour hike. Before you see one stone pillar, man-made.
Right. Point that out.
Point.
Oh, it's definitely point, yeah.
Looks like your idea might have been right. And the map surely seems accurate as well.
Very nice.
Yeah, right. Let's find some treasure.
Treasure.
It's cool that message is a cantrip. That's handy.
Yeah, and just keep casting it.
Ambergreen,
Probably have the mage hand point the copper rod for me.
I'm listening.
you think, despite the erosion, perhaps you might currently be walking on a road, or where once there was a trail
Sure, yeah.
shape.
Oh, but can I kneel down and like see if it's like cobbles or something?
It is definitely not cobbled, but just kind of you can sort of see, like, looking at the pillar and looking at how the contour of the ground travels kind of down to the right a little bit. You can sort of see, like, this, 15-foot, wide enough for a cart or two, sort of relatively smoother than, what you would expect. You've never seen an ocean floor before, but you're pretty sure it's not completely flat.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll point that out to the elf.
Oh.
You're an elf, right?
To who? Who's an elf?
Oh, Lauren.
The elf.
The elf. So you're just gonna point it out to the elf, huh?
Well, no, I mean, like, I can tell that wasn't it his idea? Like, didn't he voice that?
Yeah, it was my idea. Yeah.
And then I'm gonna be like, hey, look, road.
I could just take a moment, I believe, to move loose earth with mold earth and just, clear some dirt out of the way and see if we can actually find something.
Cool.
Yeah, I wasn't being exclusionary. I was kind of thinking if this is his idea, then he,
He has a name,
Montlarin.
Yeah, so you take a minute to kind of excavate a little bit, and you don't really find anything. You think, had this been a road or a trail, it is either long eroded or was not cobbled in the first place.
I'm gonna go over to the pillar and see if I can kind of dig around it and see if it's just barely sticking out or if it's got a deep sort of base to it. Get some sort of bearing, where things are at.
Underwater library.
Yeah, there is there's about 3 inches of earth around it before you reach the bottom, and it starts to tip over away from you.
Timber.
It the squarish pillar, it tips, it falls. There's a thud, and it just cracks straight through the middle.
Well, it would fall very slowly,
It would, but it did hit ground.
and the
Yeah,
thud
yeah.
would mostly be a lot of dust movement
I was gonna
as
say
it hit.
and then it would start silting up the
Right.
place, which might not be great. Like, watch that.
Yeah, no. Oh, yeah. You can't see.
Then I'll use shape water to try to move the currents downward.
Fuck, that's just
push it
gonna
out
stir
of
it
the
all
way.
up and make it into soup.
Or push it
As long as it's away from it.
to move the currents in such a way that it kind of clears it from our vision.
Yeah.
Any more to this?
But you have destroyed this pillar.
So it wasn't very deep. Good to know.
I guess none of us were meant to be archaeologists. Ahem.
Right.
Well, it's
Maybe
only cracked a little. In
archaeology.
fact, I'm gonna go over to it and just mend the crack real fast.
You would. It's at such an angle that you would need to take a few minutes to like lift and set and then mend. If you want to do that, then you can.
I'll say, hey, if we want, I can just fix this pillar. If anybody wants to help me around here,
Yeah, I'll help out.
so then that would occur.
Okay, yeah. So you can Montlarin can lift and set, and then Nimbus can mend, and then the pillar is repaired enough, and you can leave it on the ground.
Yeah, but it was so much more fun razzing him.
No, I actually agree with Elvis. If we can yank this up somehow, I wonder if I could just put a tensor's floating disc under it and float it to the surface that way.
Ah, the floating disc. Perfect.
We'll have
How
to
much weight
figure
can that thing
out.
hold?
500 pounds.
500
This is probably
pounds.
more than 500 pounds.
Well, underwater though, things
That's-
weigh a lot
Like the
less.
disc semi underwater, right? And like semi above water, and then bring it to the beach.
Yeah,
It's
you
once we
might-
get above the
it'll
water
automatically
that it would be
float.
really fucking heavy.
Yeah, it'll automatically float all the way up 5 feet above the water, then it'll capsize under its own.
Oh,
Yeah,
would
and
it-
it'll
would it
bomb
go
over
to
and
the-
over.
Would the disc go straight up?
What was that?
Would the disc
I
go
believe it
straight up?
would. I'm
Yeah,
thinking from. I mean,
I think I
Sensors
might
is an
be able
old-
to put a
old
little bit of
spell.
angle, but it's certainly not going to be enough to, because I think it's only like 15 feet per turn. Let me check.
Yeah, you're a ways offshore now too. You're like a couple miles out at this point.
And also, if it got away from me, like I would have to be with the disc the whole time.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
the
So you'd have to
logistics.
go up with it.
Yeah, the logistics of it are a little bit tough. That said, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Let's go down further and see if we can find some smaller, more meaningful things.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you are so you're traveling through here.
Anywhere where you feel like you found something of interest, let me know, and I'll just whoosh the dirt away. Not in a way that blinds us, though.
Yeah, how about another round of perception checks as you're continuing for another, half hour or 45 minutes or so down here.
And now that I know what I'm kind of looking for, I'm gonna try to engage my stone cunning.
Okay, sure. You can does that give you advantage normally?
I don't have any text on it over here when I look at it, and I don't remember what it actually says. But it's something
you should
like
add that later, but I'm pretty sure it's advantage on history checks.
got it.
But I'll give you advantage on this perception check as well, although everybody else did wonderfully.
I was gonna say I got a 16, which is not bad.
If you want to roll it again for advantage, you can.
That's just roll it normal one more time, right?
Yeah. It's better. Okay.
Even better.
all of you except Montlarin, who is distracted by something of his choice.
That would be everything.
You're strolling. You're looking around. There have been curious fish who have swam by. Nothing really spooky or big or sharp uh, as of yet, which has been nice.
Anything that
Um,
looks changed or good to eat?
uh, very little shifting down here. You would say. It's at least these fish have thus far in their lives been spared.
Any gourmet fish?
That's actually interesting to note, because if being underwater prevents them from being affected by the
Right.
redshift, that
Did
is
you build an
something.
underwater base?
Right, exactly.
You've definitely seen, and the commission has caught plenty of shifted fish before.
Oh, okay.
But as always, when it comes to non-sapients, um, the incidence of shifting is a lot less. Um, so everybody except Montlarin, uh, you would say, well, maybe another 2 miles away from you. Um, you would have to estimate its size at least 100 feet, because you're a good couple 100 feet underwater now. You've been steadily going down. Um, and it's morning, so you're kind of walking east toward the sun, and you're underwater, so it's hard to see, but you can in fact see the sun, right?
Okay, so that's a lot of depth of clear water.
It's it is murky and it is rough water, but there's a glowing point that
Okay.
you can continue to identify.
Right, makes sense.
Uh, something for several seconds passes in front of the sun, obscures it, and casts you into shadow.
Yikes.
I wonder if
And
it's one of those ice chunk storms.
oh, it's not shaped like a something like that. You
Is there a
see
discernible shape to it? To the something that passed across the sun?
you see a tail.
Yeah, that's spooky.
So we're seeing some kind of big creature overhead.
Well, to our east, but yeah.
Fun. Let's capture it and eat it.
Let's not.
If it attacks us,
Well, then we'll do that.
If it attacks us, I'll use the wand to control it.
damn, yeah, try to do that and then make it beach itself so that we can eat it.
Are you hungry, Alvis?
I just, eating rare meats is one of the things that like I listed on why I wanted to travel when I registered for this job.
It's like an Anthony Bourdain.
I mean, I like think about it. I've been, raised underground for my entire life. What was gourmet for me was underground blind lobster and tower caps. I want like some good goddamn food. You ever subsist on a diet that was like roach protein bread and like?
No, but I have lived on berries.
Well, then
No,
maybe
yeah. There's a I mean, I guess everybody would notice this, but Naya had the biggest role. So Naya, there's a roar, um underwater roar. And far off toward the northeast, you can see uh, a sphere of ice traveling down through the water, um, leaving a trail of uh, pierced fish behind it.
Lunchtime, Alvis.
And then the large creature, you see it swoop back in the other direction across that carnage. This is not this is happening not far away from you.
Yeah, do we have a sense of not far, like how far that actually is? Like, are we talking 100 meters or 1,000 meters?
Less than 2 miles.
Okay. So, and it's above to the northeast
It's
or above
it
on
seems
the same
it seems
horizontal plane?
it seems like it must be pretty close to the surface.
Okay. All right. So I'm a little concerned about Rhodile and Arenaeus, although I don't know if I can um,
You're
communicate
here
that
and
to
they
the
are there.
rest. I know, but if something's happening close to the surface, then that's kind of worrisome because we can't help.
Is it close to where the ship was at?
Well,
No,
all we know is that it's
you are
northeast
here
of
and the
us,
ship is here.
above. So the ship is west, but oh well, whatever.
Yeah, if there's a danger, it's probably to us.
We should try to find cover along the way as we move in case we've got to get under and protect ourselves.
I'm scared for you, bigger folk. I feel maybe this fish wouldn't eat somebody the size of me, or maybe Evergreen.
Well, it's more like, the fish are gotten speared by ice, so we have to dodge slowly ice chunks as they're falling from the sky, and then we also have to dodge bigger fish.
Oh, I wonder if the shadow is a thing that has a breath weapon that is ice chunks.
That's a horrifying thought.
Yeah, it is. But I have a breath weapon that does ice.
But
Well,
I
so
mean,
that should have
honestly,
occurred to you before it occurred to me.
but honestly, this is legitimately what I figured from the description.
So I have a weird question. I don't know that we can have this conversation underwater. So, Serb, you have to be the one to determine that.
I can have a one.
Did anybody say what they saw with regard to that volcano? Did they say they saw lava, and did the lava meet the ocean and steam up and stuff like that, like normal lava, or was there anything different about it, or did the lava not make it to the ocean, or what do we know?
That was 70 miles south of you. And it looked like the lava was pouring into the ocean around the volcano.
And it looked like normal lava, the kind associated with fire, right?
I mean, as far as they could tell from pretty far away. Again, they were watching this from across the bay.
So what do we know in our real life that can produce falling ice? Chunks of falling ice falling from the sky. We know anything that could do that?
Maybe the breath of an ice dragon.
That's what I was looking at. Is it possibly the lair of a different kind of dragon,
an
ice dragon?
Of shifted whale that can cast some sort of spell.
I don't know, but I think we kind of have to go outside the box on thinking up possibilities. Because, I mean, this could be like the rain that we saw, the shifted rain that dropped like daggers. But we're not in a shift, right?
No, no, that would mean you're dead.
Well, unless it's attacking us, we'll just keep a good old eye out and
Yeah, I just think that we have to kind of start thinking outside the box for the possible cause, because this isn't very logical.
giant monster.
Anyway, let's keep going. Keep an eye out both above and to the northeast for any more falling ice chunks. Alvis, grab food if you see it.
We'll see it. It'll come after me. Us.
I mean, if everybody feels so inclined, I can just make some sheets of ice that we can just carry over our heads.
I don't want to have to carry anything yet.
It'd be really light. It's just enough that if an ice chunk came down, it would, pierce you because you got a chunk of ice. I'll make one for myself at least.
Ice does float.
Yeah, it would be a small piece, or even that would be enough to start going up.
Well, I think any ice floats, but you're talking about big enough to be a shield, but not big enough to float would be a difficult prospect, I think.
Yeah, I've probably got some some sort of rock tied around my waist. I'd be particularly light otherwise.
Right. Well, if you're already tied up, then it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Then you just
Okey-dokey.
have to make sure to not let go.
Yeah, well, I'd make a handle for it.
Tie it to your wrist like a balloon.
Okay, moving on. Sir,
Yes.
what else do we see?
Well, that's it for a time. How long are you all willing to go?
Um,
Uh,
we should probably make sure that we don't go for too long that we can't get back before the sun
Well,
goes.
Right? How far are we willing to push?
there's that. There's no problem with the water breathing because it goes for 24 hours. So
Right.
likewise, what beach did we come off from? We could be going in the total opposite direction of where the city could be located.
You went off the southeast beach.
So
I think we
the
should kind of go in a triangle and come back, look for a different area.
well, yeah, the roiling water seemed to be in a very specific area.
Right. Admittedly, I was assuming that was like a discontinuity of border, so we're kind of on the other side of that border, you know.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say, however far we're willing to walk, we should probably only walk for like a max of 4 hours before we turn around and come back.
Yeah.
okay, Alvis, are you noting things down either mentally or on your map?
I can't write things on a map underwater.
Oh, I thought you might have a wax crayon or something.
There's no underwater paper.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, if it's made from skin, if you got like vellum or something.
Oh, interesting.
You're not able to make it much further than the edge of this hex um before the that soft 4-hour timer is up.
Okay, could you ping that on the map, sir?
Right here.
Thank you. Oh, right where we are. Okay.
Um, and in your travel, you didn't see much else that looked man-made. Um, you did, however, see that thing pass by the sun one other time.
Wonder how far
Okay.
it ranges.
Yeah, that's a little spooky. I wonder what it is.
How
Yeah,
many
I
there
mean,
are.
Right.
yeah, as I say, I think ultimately that's probably something that we're going to want to investigate, maybe from the surface.
Yeah, you think?
Um,
And after a rest.
so thinking about stories I'd been told about the elemental plane of water, does this ring a bell? Would this be like the salamander equivalent for the water plane, some sort of like swimming mid-tier, not nobility but upper class sort of, not quite apex creature, but something big and tough with some.
You're not familiar with any known creature that hunts with ice spears.
Right, maybe not necessarily with ice
I'm not
spears, but
familiar with the ranks of that.
what sort of I guess creatures would be the normal population for elemental plane of water that I would be aware of being told stories.
I believe obviously there are the genies. The Tritons, I believe, hail from there. I think the Kuotoa fish people come from there. Um, large large creatures though. There's a lot of stuff similar to the material plane in terms of uh just like normal animal life.
Right.
I think you would say there is actually not a strict equivalent to the salamander for the plane of water.
I get you.
Or no,
The
perhaps
Tritons.
Sahuagin.
Oh yeah. Oh
The
yeah.
similar to Tritons, but very mean.
Okay. Unless one of them got shifted and learned how to make ice junk, um, might not necessarily be any one of those. Might be some creature that we've never seen before.
Yeah, I just feel like we have to kind of think outside the box on what it is. If we get to the surface, maybe we can have Rodile kind of
Oh, the walk
move
back would
around.
be on the surface, wouldn't it? Wouldn't we do the water walking?
Yeah, we could if we're too far out to find surface uh, from wherever we are, then I can water walk us.
Would we be continuing to explore like a little offset from where we were before, or would we just go to the surface and come back quicker? What would you folks want to
I'm fine to walk, honestly.
Yeah, I don't mind.
do? Okay. Then we'd probably stay underwater.
As long as it's not too, I guess, choppy would be another word. It's tiring. So we're all in good shape and we can do this, but we're going to be pooped by the time we get done. We're going to be ready for a rest. So
Right.
All right, so we're turning around.
I'd like to not turn around if possible. Is there a way to, um, like maybe head north, even if it puts us on the other island?
Yeah, that's doable.
All of
Okay,
our stuff is back up
I'd
by
like
the
to see
beach,
as
though.
much as possible.
Yeah, so you do have your stuff on the beach.
All of our stuff is on the other beach. Oh,
Well, Naya's not too worried about stuff, but
Now being
yeah,
wielded by crabs.
typical druid.
yes, I know.
Oh
Trying
no,
to make
we
us
probably have
feel
had Irenaeus posted there.
So, I mean, yeah, we can just go back, I guess. I was trying to find new ground to explore before we have to leave, because we'll probably not do this again. It's kind of a singular opportunity.
No,
Right.
we got our dredge. Like if we like dredge something up interesting, it would be fairly trivial to cast the spell again as a ritual and then dive from that location.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, I think too that this might be something that the greater expedition investigates in more detail in the
Yes.
future too.
I think we would definitely recommend that they send a team down here, maybe 2 teams at different times. And I think that I think you're right. They might want to excavate Colas, produce some kind of an expedition for it.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
all
that's
is
incredible.
quite fascinating to me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, no, I think definitely getting more resources. Certainly when Captain Van is done with his project, I bet he would probably be able to do a good job leading an expedition down here too.
Yeah, I'm really curious if there's a big fish or a whale or something cruising these waters above the ruin. But it does seem to be pretty pretty definitive that we've found a ruin.
Sure seems like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, you haven't found much else thus far, and it's hard to tell what direction perhaps
Right.
might lead you somewhere more interesting. But there's definitely been evidence here.
I think I have another idea. When we get back close, if we spot that pillar again, I have a better way to try to bring it with us. I can just kind of get
Encase it
ice.
in ice.
Yeah, get ice underneath it and float it on up. Then we
Okay.
can use the ice itself to kind of act as a sled for us. Haul it up. Obviously, it's still not something we'll be able to take back. If we put that in the boat, we're not going to be able to be in the boat.
No.
But at least having it ashore is going to make it easier.
If we could get it
for-
ashore, then we could make pictures of it and stuff like that to
Oh,
take
yeah.
back
Yeah, rubbings. That's a great idea. If we got enough paper.
or something. I mean, even if we're just using,
Even if we literally just sketch it.
yeah.
Yeah. Was I able to make out what sort of language it's in?
The pillar.
Yeah.
Um,
If there's any language to it.
there may have been text on it. You'll have to go back and take a closer look.
Okay.
So yeah, if you want to get back in that direction, um, that is doable.
Okay.
If we're heading back, then yeah, we'll see it.
Sounds good.
And yeah, with some effort, you would be able to extract this pillar from the ocean. Um, it would take a lot more effort after you get it up onto the beach, but at the very least, you could get it up onto the beach. And this might be something you leave for later, um, for others to come take.
Definitely. And whatever we can kind of suss out of inspecting it while we're not underwater,
Yeah.
that could be worthwhile. It could help us learn more about anything.
Well, and
really.
hopefully it doesn't just disintegrate upon upon reaching the air.
I mean, after it was mended, that break, it should hopefully
Right,
be
okay.
sturdy enough.
Okay. So eventually you make it back to the beach. Um a couple times throughout this hike there are additional roars behind you. Um but they're far away from you. Um you get up onto the beach. You have the pillar. You're able to drag it out. It's maybe at this point 3 in the afternoon. You were down there a while. Um, I assume there's some prestidigitation to clean the gear and unwet the bodies.
Always, all the time. Remember when we used to ask questions about this stuff? I'm meticulous about my
Yeah.
myself.
Um, the pillar, you're able to see, does have a small label, a single label on it. Um, One side of the label reads North Colas. The other side of the label um reads um West Hill Shrine.
A road marker.
Congratulations, Mount Lauren. Good insight.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's our proof.
All right. Well, that will definitely warrant some more exploring out here for sure.
Yeah, we should also find out if if any of our local friends know about that shrine and they can tell us something about it.
Right?
I mean, it just occurred to me that both Orissa and uh,
The
the
grandmother.
house. Well, I figure grandmother might not know as much about like people places,
That's true.
but Orissa and her friend, the spirit we found in the temple,
Oh, Father
might
Larry's.
might have a vested, well, not vested, but professional knowledge.
Yeah. Or if we ever saw, what's her name again? The one with the house that's a natural repellent.
Tilda.
Tilda, yeah. Gosh, we haven't seen her in a long time. Hope she's doing well.
Mm,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We looked for her too.
Yeah, but she'd have been out and about. If she has multiple homes, I doubt she would tell us about all of them. Well, that was quite interesting.
Yeah, that's actually a good day's work.
Do we want to head to the next island and then kind of settle down there?
I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired.
Yeah, I mean, not right this second, but that would be our thing to do for the rest of the day. Is just kind of
Right. Like, I mean,
getting
now that we realize there is an archipelago here, we should probably, as a goal for the next, between now and the next waning, we should try to map out as much of it as we can.
Yep.
Yeah.
agreed.
Especially because it would inform us on good dredging spots.
dives even.
I was thinking more knowing exactly where the edge of this roiling water is, not only to help us try to map out where we should be checking out below, but also as a way to know where we shouldn't sail if anybody's taking a small boat through this area.
Right. Yeah, we should definitely chart that out. I agree.
Well, yeah, especially with that giant whatever.
Yeah, something.
Indeed. Cool. Well, I guess I'd check in with Rhode Island Irenaeus. Did you see anything dropping ice chunks to hunt fish? Because we were apparently seeing some large creature that blotted out the sun in the distance for us a few times. Trying to do some fishing of some sort. Seemed like it was probably pretty successful. Shoot out some ice chunks that would be going straight downward with a bunch of fish on them.
You were underwater with that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it wasn't that close to us. It probably had better
What is it?
fish to eat.
What is it?
What?
Is it anything like that thing that attacked us that other time?
Yeah,
we
what
were with Rhode Island?
do you
What
know
is it?
what sort of creature it is?
Oh no, I've never seen anything like that. I was just saying if I saw a giant sea creature kill a bunch of fish, I would have left.
Shat
We
yourself?
just
I
saw a
get it.
fiendish hell portal not more than a day ago. This is a little more tame, I would say.
I all right, listen, you guys see a lot of shit, and I understand that.
don't worry, we'll win you over to
But
the brighter side of life one of these days.
but no, I didn't see it. I was taking care of the boat over here. Was it
Did you hear anything? Like a roar?
Any rumble? Did the boat shake? It could have eaten the boat, definitely. Like by the thinking about the size of it, like
We
one
didn't-
good swoop.
Well, I mean, it's the size of the boat at least.
Yeah, well, larger, absolutely, like totally, just right out of the water.
Go ahead, scare the crap out of him. You go right ahead, Alvis.
You know, I've heard and read about whales that like use their dorsal fins to smack boats out of the water for fun.
now is he talking big for a gnome or no? Are you
He
saying?
is talking big to get Rhode Isle all worked up.
Oh no, he was asking you that.
Oh, sorry, I missed it. Um, we don't actually know. All we saw was a shadow.
Blocked out the sun.
It blocked out the sun, so it was dense. And it
While
was
you were
swimming
underwater.
while we were underwater. It was above us, and it was big enough to blot out the sun while it moved. And then we heard this noise that was kind of like a roar, but of course it's underwater, so sound is muffled, although it can travel longer distances. So that roar could have been something coming from the ruins, as currents move through it or something. It could have been something on the surface, but that's why we're asking.
Well, I didn't hear any roar.
Okay.
But if you were under the rough waters over there, that puts me and Irenaeus pretty far away from you. We've been keeping to the calmer
Okay.
space
All right.
over here. Haven't moved too much, to be honest with you.
Sir, what's the distance from where the boat was anchored to as far as we went,
Uh,
roughly?
couple miles.
Okay.
Oh, do you mean the furthest point you went?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's closer to 8 miles.
Okay, so like a whole hex and a little bit more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a hex and a half, basically.
Yes, we did good.
Yeah, I
Okay,
mean, you
well,
went on a good hike down there.
yeah, we did. No wonder I'm tired. All right, so well, that's interesting. If they didn't hear anything,
Yeah, no, that's
Nimbus, do you have any sound enhancing spells?
sound enhanced. Could you be a
Oh,
little
and
more
just
specific?
well, we heard a roar, like enhancing
To sharpen one's
direction,
senses.
sharpen, yeah,
Uh,
anything.
I don't know
I don't have
anything of the
anything like that.
sort. The closest I would have is sending Badath and understanding some amount of chirps and hoots and something that's supposed to convey what Badath saw.
I mean, Serb is a fish an animal?
A fish is a beast for Naya, yeah.
Okay, so speak with animals would work with a fish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, otherwise I don't have anything that has to do with um like working with sound.
I will say I do. That just put the image in my head of Naya leaning all the way off of a boat to stick her head underwater and shout for help.
Yep.
Um,
You do not speak whale.
Anyway, continue.
Anyway, I don't have anything Nimbus that has to do with like sound.
I could imagine there is something out there, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it might be some level 20 skill or something. Anyway, I don't have anything, but I think it's interesting that that they were far enough away that they heard nothing. And yet for us, it was quite loud, noticeably loud.
If it stayed underwater, the sound probably wouldn't reach the surface very well. So,
Right. And so then that suggests that it really is an underwater roar rather than one echoing from the surface. And so an underwater roar then would have two possible sources, unless I think of something else, and that would be a creature, and then the other would be the sound of a current moving through stone. Although I've only heard that on the surface.
that wouldn't blot out the sun.
No. And I thought it was you. Somebody said it looked like a tail moving.
Yeah, that's.
But I can't
Definitely
think
some
of any
sort of
fish
spook.
that actually roar either.
Well, again, could be redshifted. It could be. What sort? I guess, sir. What sort of tail are we talking? Was it like a fishy-looking tail, or was it like a pointy, leathery, like gator-looking tail?
More serpentine eel like.
Oh. Yeah.
Sort
But
of.
So
there was a big body. So trying to think of a sea creature that I could compare that to, but I'm not coming up with anything.
yeah, I'm not
There's
coming
that
up with anything either. So
Dinosaur thing with the bitey head.
Oh, that's a good one actually. Yeah.
I can't remember the name. Plesiosaur?
Love you.
There you go.
Yeah, that's actually quite apt here.
Considering there was just a fiend portal not far away, it could be some sort of oddity zone that we're looking at here.
well, we've got a couple of odd things happening that are really not explained by the normal natural world. In a redshifted world, obviously a whole bunch of things can happen, but
I thought we fought a drake over this sea one time. Some sort of dragony thing when we were on the boat.
Oh yeah, you mean when we took that tower down?
That's right.
There was a
wait, what?
There was a ice wyvern like creature
When
at that time when you went to the ice tower.
was I there?
I don't remember.
It was a while ago.
It was a long time
The ice
ago.
tower full of corpses, and we accidentally bonked the wrong thing.
Yeah, and melted it down.
Oh yeah,
broke
I
it into
did.
sea.
I wasn't there for that. So okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then there was like a flying ice spitting monster.
Okay. So, if there was an ice spitting monster, that monster could still be around, possibly shifted by now into something who knows what, but it could still theoretically still be alive and spitting ice, which would explain the falling ice phenomena.
Yeah, that's true.
I got the idea that it was smaller than that, though.
Well, what if it got shifted into
Yeah,
something monstrous?
Maybe. Right.
Could be that this is something underneath the tower that was trapped within it.
Right now it's free.
Yeah.
We released it from its icy prison.
Yeah.
Good job, guys.
It might be thankful or it might just be hungry. I don't know. It didn't bother us this time.
You can talk to animals, right?
Yes.
Tell it that we freed it, and
Well, we'd have to find it so I could cast the spell within,
We'd also have to confirm that we freed it and it wasn't something that was already here. And it might say, freed me, what? No, I never... That doesn't ring a bell, but I'm going to eat you now.
Oh, no, because while it's like, that doesn't ring a bell, we're already eating it.
Good. That's ambitious.
It is.
Yeah. Well, nobody ever said Alvistaver wasn't ambitious. Okay. Well, that might explain, maybe. We have to go out on a limb, but if you did encounter an ice-breathing wyvern in roughly this location before, then that might explain ice falling from the sky.
Like, we would at least have it in our minds that happened that one time.
Right.
Yeah, creature from above is definitely on the list of possibilities.
Well, when you look at the trajectory of how the ice fell and the angle of it, that have to be from really, really high up. Plus the way it was embedded in the ground.
Uh-oh.
It was deep. That's high impact.
So you think it flies and swims?
I don't know.
That's what I was suggesting.
Might be two different things.
He's back.
Yeah, don't mind me. That was just random. Thanks, Discord.
All right.
Anyway, it's just something to think about. If you remember any more things like that, that's important.
Yeah.
I don't have much experience with fish, so
Aren't you a coastal druid?
I am.
Don't you fish on the coast?
The on land side of Coastal Druid, not the underwater.
It's just like a lot of coastal communities I know a lot about like fish.
Yeah, except that when I met my mentors and my circle, they sent me to go hang with the dwarves for 5 years.
Oh, interesting.
It's like
Right. So I
crossfit.
learned dwarven. And I learned all kinds of stuff about that, but I didn't learn about fish.
So I would say again, you know about fish basics, and if you wanted, you could wild shape into a fish. They just aren't very useful most of the time. Also, I don't know if there is just a fish as a stat block. So
Right. Okay. So it's later we can create fish and make it as nigh a fish.
Underwater crocodile though is pretty awesome. Like,
well, what I
those
don't
things-
know is does it have to breathe air or can it breathe underwater?
they can hold their breath for a bit.
Right.
Crocodiles can hold their breath for days. Maybe not days, but
Right. So I'd be better off if I'm going to go really the underwater thing. I'd be better off doing fish.
But your water breathing wouldn't have worn off. So you could cast water breathing and then just be the giant underwater gator.
That's true.
crocodile, alligators.
Crocodile. Excuse me.
Also not a caiman. Also, there's this other thing, an Indian nar. They're not related to crocodiles or alligators.
And there's caiman also.
Yeah, I already said that though. Caiman are like crocodiles, just small.
Well, we can try to figure out what this creature is as we kind of move along here. I feel like it keeps its territory to the roiling waters.
Yeah.
We don't know that for certain, but I have a feeling that's why Rhode Island Air didn't see it, because it just doesn't come this close to the area we departed from. Or if it does, it's chasing something.
Maybe it's territorial. Maybe it has like a big old underwater tunnel it lives in.
Yeah, who knows? So all of our gears all together. Did we hop on the boat and move to the next island, or are we still on this one?
You're still here for now. You can do what you want. But is checking out the next island part of your plan?
Yeah, I think we should, at least to cruise by it. Maybe not necessarily get off, but just notable features we can see.
Alright.
It'd be either that or trying to chart out where the rough waters are at. I don't really necessarily feel safe doing that in this boat, because if we stumble across an area that doesn't quite make sense to us, we could be in trouble.
Yes.
So I think maybe finding more islands and being a reasonably safe distance from the waters that would sink us.
Okay. So let me see.
Is that good
Okay,
with
that's a
everyone
pretty
else?
nasty looking fish that you posted there in the channel.
Oh yeah, I was just posting it as like a general shape sort of thing.
Okay.
Oh,
Is that a plesiosaur?
Yeah.
that is a plesiosaur.
Okay.
It's Nessie also. Loch Ness monster, Nessie,
Yeah, Nessie.
Right, yeah.
the less believable of the ones that I know about. The what are they called?
Cryptid.
Cryptid. Yeah. I only say that because I've actually been turned over to the Bigfoot argument. There could be a North American ape that we haven't discovered. That's easily accountable for. I believe it.
I mean, never mind. I can't. I was gonna roast. I was gonna roast some community, but I couldn't think of which community to roast readily enough. So I was just like, I've been to blank.
Oregon?
Hey, I like Oregon.
Yeah. But you know,
I've
there are
been
a lot of
how about
hairy
this?
hippies up in Oregon.
I've been to Eastern Oregon.
Ew.
Anyway, all right. So is that the track that we're going to sail here, folks?
Yeah.
Let's get as much done as we can for getting our stuff and doing what we're going to do before we need to make camp in earnest and rest.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Where's Ernest?
Who's Ernest?
Might be on the next island.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Badam tish.
Yeah. So now you're able to navigate to the next island nearby. This one is kind of a flat and grassy island.
Is it discernibly higher or lower in elevation compared to the other two islands that we've seen?
To the extent where the second one was very hilly, and quite elevated. The first and third, this one now, are relatively flat
Okay.
overall. Like again, this would be a thing where it wouldn't be hard for you to even jog one end to the other for a if you were going on a run.
Okay.
You
Yeah, it looks
you could
small.
cut across and make it there and back in maybe an hour or two. Um, these are not huge islands. Um, but around the time that you get here, it is getting pretty late. So Rhoda would suggest maybe making camp here would be
Yeah, sounds like
Yep.
a good idea.
okay. What the fuck is this? All right, cool. So Roll20 has a category called Impressum, and if I click on it, it says there's nothing in this category.
Wow. Impressive.
Nothing is impressive.
It's not
Nothing is
impressive. It's Impressum. I
And
just noticed it.
Volcano.
Uh,
I was thinking of a spell. I don't know. Impressive.
Yeah. So, what you're able to see is that the churning waters don't approach this location. It seems, and things are relatively smooth out here. And traversing the island up and down a little bit while you're making camp. Again, it's quite flat, grassy. Not really any trees or anything much to speak of. It's kind of just an empty little plain of an island. You'll run into a few like birds' nests amidst the grass and stuff. But that's really it. It's a good place to make camp, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're going to have a little cabin off by yourself, this sounds like a good spot.
Oh yeah, that too.
Any wildlife?
If you really wanted an obelisk out on this little island, wouldn't be too bad.
Well, I'm just wondering, it's like if there was going to be an obelisk, we'd probably want to put it on the bigger island, but the small one has some appeal as well. They're just so expensive.
The range of the obelisk, even like you wouldn't be able to fill the whole island. You could, if you made one maybe like double the size as normal, you might even be able to take over this whole little thing.
That'd be cool. I'm starting to get really fascinated about the whole Colas thing. What happened to it? How did it sink beneath the waves?
Yeah.
Well, the bay.
I mean, we were down pretty far.
Yeah, that means a
So
lot
that's
of
a
water
whole
came in.
city that sank.
Well, it's
Probably
not.
even more than the city. Probably
Yeah,
the whole area
that's what I'm
around it.
saying. It's not the city that sank. It's the bay. The water that was here previously didn't reach the mountains to where the volcano is. Like this entire area that we're standing in right now was still part of the mainland.
Right. And it's somehow
Um,
collapsed.
and from your visits um, to other areas that the swamp was not a swamp 1,000 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you saying we're gonna need to drain the swamp?
Oh no.
That would be
This-
hard. It's attached to
No.
the ocean.
Yeah, the swamp. The swamp is more of a drain in itself, a sponge. Swamp because this entire bay has been flooded. Like that supposed landmass in between Britain and Normandy. Not Normandy.
Yeah.
Normandy.
Well, it would be interesting to be able to confirm that these are, in fact, mountaintops.
That's true.
Well, I mean, it's like we would want to definitely ask more questions of our friends about Colas the next time we see them. Where there are a lot of, I mean, these are really, if these are just the tops of the mountains eroded over time, they were not very high mountains, a couple hundred, 300, 400, 500 feet. So they're more like hills. But was Colas built in and among the hills? I would confirm that.
Yeah.
We'll learn more as we continue to explore the area and hopefully get some expeditions down there.
Yeah.
So camping does indeed happen. Again, if anybody wants to short rest, I don't think you need anything for it, but I don't think you get anything from it right now. But that can happen.
Yeah, I think I'm good on that.
Likewise.
And you have been out and about for 6 days now. It is while you are sleeping, in fact, that you were all jolted by the Redshift's first wave.
All right, time to go, guys. I don't care if you're sleeping. It's time to wake up. We're going. I'm going to be annoying until we're packed.
I kind of figured that we were due for it, but
Right.
Rodell says, "Oh,
That
No,
minus charisma check.
we got like 4 days to get out of here. Come on, man."
I strike the air. There's no come on. It's the Redshift.
Yep, somebody cast silence on it.
You want to shout all that stuff outside the bubble?
Gotta wake up. We gotta go. I'm taking the boat. I'll use Mage Hand. That's 10 pounds worth of force is enough to row.
Y'all can water welcome.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. Come on, let's go. I'm evil. Don't tempt me. I strike the air. It crits.
Hey, Ambergrain, you got some sort of lullaby for this guy?
I can't sleep in the middle of this. The Redshift is gonna come at any time.
We gotta go.
We gotta go. See, even the bard thinks we gotta go.
The sailor gets up and he pulls his shoes on and he says, "Okay, all right."
I'm trying to think if I have something I can mellow you out with. I mean, other than my warhammer.
Alvis.
You're gonna like.
I could charm
like,
person.
sleep,
I could charm
and then
you.
it's gonna like change us in the middle of the night. If I'm gonna
Or-
have eyeballs growing out
command
of my ass.
Here, I can cast command at level 1, and I'll be like, cool it.
I have a.
All right, he's got to make a wisdom save. Otherwise, cool it for 6 seconds.
A wisdom save with advantage.
You with
With
advantage.
advantage.
Actually, I do it like a song too. I go, cool it.
Technically, it would have to be like chill.
You gotta chill.
One word.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Chill.
Nice 10.
I know that kind of sucks. My roll tonight totally sucks.
All right, you have to chill for 6 seconds.
Just sit right down.
Fine. How long does this last?
6 seconds.
All right.
It's just a head change.
Yeah, but I mean the Redshift.
Well, we're on our way. It's cool. You're just mellow now.
I am mellow, and I've convinced the sailor that he doesn't want me taking his boat.
Oh no, actually, I want you on the boat. You're on. You got to pull up the anchor. You woke us all up.
How heavy is the anchor?
Very. Come on, you can do it.
I can only do 10 pounds worth of force.
You are a mighty. Come on, you gotta.
Just brace your seat or brace your feet across the side of the boat, so that way you got more leverage. Pull up the anchor.
Can I lift it with a crowbar?
I don't really see that.
No, there's a crank.
What was that?
Listen, there's a crank. Listen, if you can't lift an anchor, then how are you going to impress everybody back at the back of the base?
Just hook your legs around the seat, the bench, and haul.
Yeah. Anybody can do it.
Impress them by lifting an anchor? Do you realize where sailors stand in society?
I mean, on deck, right?
In the middle of the sea,
2 points
1,000
for you.
miles away from things.
No, it's okay. I'll tell everybody you were able to pull up the anchor. They'll be impressed.
Impressed. By
Be impressed if you're
right?
quiet and calm.
But the Redshift, it's coming right now as we're talking.
You better pull that anchor up quick, otherwise it's gonna get us.
I use everything in my power plus my mage hand to try to pull this anchor.
All right. Rodile will, pat you on the back hard enough to get it going.
You can sleep on the boat, right?
You can sleep on a boat.
Yeah, there you go, guys. You'll be fine. And while we sail straight to this place, we are, west to the obelisk, we'll be good. And think of all that free time we'll have next to the base, so that we can, do
Great
stuff in preparation for the for the upcoming shift. We can do more tests on stuff like this. It will be great. Early bird gets the worm and doesn't get turned into abominations.
If we've got time, I'm just gonna head straight to Orvis and drop off this acid.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea too. I mean, I could give these eyeballs to the experts.
Yeah, I mean, and if since we've left early, we should be able to make it to Orvis.
Yeah, right. See, now you're seeing the silver lining to me keeping you all awake. I shoot up like sparks into the air as a celebration, just to wake people up even more. It's a bright, shiny light.
It's the
Hey,
illusion
fireworks.
of bright shining light. You basically threw glitter in the air.
Exactly.
Well, so the reason it could be glitter, but I can actually instantaneously light or snuff out a candle or a small campfire. Like, I can actually make fire with this. So the only reason why I would see prestidigitation not working as a light source underwater is because it makes fire, not like illusionary light, which is exactly
Right.
what a light spell is. And so,
Right.
like, it even says you can make a shower of sparks. Like, it's a harmless shower of sparks.
Right, but you can at least do, the trail of sparks, like a sparkler.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, make yourself look like a powerful magician.
Whoosh, sparks into the air.
So, any rolls or hurdles or pitfalls, or do we pretty much make it back to Orvis?
You are back home after a couple more days, and you want to be at Orbis.
Yeah, because I want to
Yeah.
drop off the acid and check in to see if it's strong enough to work with those fire glands.
Likewise, giving up these eyeballs to some people who can actually study them with some like expertise, whether that's going to be Maisie and her, not Maisie, Maisie's
Soriana.
yeah, Soriana. Whether it's Soriana and her plant expertise, or it's Decus and his magical. Likewise,
Okay. Well then, visit to Soriana. You're back home. You greet the gang as you come in. People wave as they see you coming up the bridge. Um, you stop by Soriana's house building. Um, you enter the dank and dusky darkness. Um, and how many vials of Ichor did you collect?
It was one large, specific acid-ready flask that I had obtained a while back. So,
Okay.
not some dinky little thing, like a pretty big
Okay.
flask.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a good like several ounces.
Yeah, like this could be as much as a liter.
I see. Okay. Um, I assume you tell her its origin.
Yeah,
Okay.
it would be probably just easier to get Smitty and Soriana and whomever else is going to get these materials together and just kind of go over them as a group. Because it was Smitty that was going to do that process on the fire gland to make the crystals that we can put into gear.
She says, "Oh wow, that is a lot. I'm gonna take that." And uh, you said you got this from a demon?
It was
Yeah.
giant gorilla fiends that exploded into acid when we killed them. So the
yeah,
acid burns like, oh hell, I'll just collect this. This might be able to do the trick.
yeah.
Okay. So she is gonna get a dark glass container with a heavy lid, and she's going to take yours and dump it completely into that one and seal it, and then she's going to put um a like a paper mesh cover over it and get some twine and seal it again, and she says, okay, that's safe. um you should She gives you back the large file, and she says you should clean that thoroughly. um Demon ichor blood,
You
mostly.
said burn funny. With a strange accent. You said burn.
Soriana, while you're still tense, I don't want you to calm down. at any point.
No, it's okay. I got to tell you about this though. It's really important. Otherwise, you'll probably die. Demon ichor, blood, viscera, guts, stuff, magic. Did you get any of it on you?
Oh yeah, look at this bag I have right here, just dripping with the stuff.
Yeah, it's been washed.
I think
Oh,
a
that-
couple of us
that's what I
got
was gonna say.
splashed. We passed our saving throws, but still got splashed. I think 3 of us.
This is correct. Yep.
You okay, so you got covered. Do you have any extra limbs at the moment?
So far, no.
No.
All right, you're probably fine. In that case, wow, you should have told me if you were going after demons. I would have warned you. But
We didn't
yeah,
know. It just suddenly emerged, and there's some sort of interdimensional eyeball fiend that seemed like it
okay,
just
well,
kind of.
warning now. Certain types of ichor can be really bad for staying human shaped.
Yeah. I remember with the red
Um,
slad, we had to disinfect somebody from the evil so they didn't grow demon.
Oh well, I think that was something completely different. But like the yellow tar goo. It mostly it's their blood. Like I said, it's not, fortunately for you, really acidic. Um, and it is super evil. I had prob. Hmm. Um, I mean, I could do a couple things with it. It's not like it's a useful material. I know how to use it. Um, Normally bad people use it for things. Um, like um bait for more demons. Which is why it's in that jar.
I
And I'm gonna put
see.
that jar in a box. Um, but excuse me. Yeah, you can sort of purify it to get some of the mechanics out of it. But did did you want to summon more demons?
No, I
Because we
thought
probably have
because
to.
it seemed like acid that we'd be able to use it to um, dissolve the fire gland into the crystalline form that for stuff.
If you really want, I could try dunking one of those in it, but it's more likely going to just
Destroy it.
eat that.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So let's skip that plan.
Okay.
I guess whatever research you can do with what you would be able to do with it, constructive purposes, destructive purposes,
Yeah, actually,
extraction.
the best way to save it and keep it safe is actually to freeze it. Um, and then if you need to use it for anything, then you can just pull it out of that. So uh, I have an ice box, so we can freeze it, and then it'll be nice and safe in its own private little box.
Sounds good. All right. Yeah, I can definitely help with that.
And
So,
Albus Tavern, you're still holding this dripping sack, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, eyeballs.
Demon eyeballs,
What kind?
specifically.
fiendish.
I didn't see that coming.
It
Demon
didn't seem
eyeballs?
it didn't seem too bad.
These aren't from the gorilla things. Those things exploded. This is from
No.
the vines from the giant eyeball intervention fiend thing.
Yeah. I explained to her what I saw.
But yes,
And the tests in great detail.
Do you tell her that you want her to grow another one?
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, hmm. Okay. I have no idea what these are. Aside from that, they're eyeballs. Um,
Their eyeballs the size of grapefruits.
yes. I can ask Lucent about growing your eyeball thing, and then try to do it. I can ask.
Yeah, at least one of them. Right. And you can use the other ones to like test. It's something maybe useful, you know? The demons were eating them.
I can.
Like
Are
low
they good?
tier, like cannibal.
Are they?
I actually don't know yet. These guys, I figured that my travel mates would be disgusted, but you know, you and I have always shared a love for testing out new foods. I would definitely eat some if you've determined that they are safe-ish, or if you ever are going to get ready to test them
She
in a bit.
she sniffs the goo tentatively.
Because most of
The
the goo
the
that's on that right now is water. He explains, because I left them in a semi-moist environment. I figured that would be a good way to keep them ripe.
okay, so it's not all eyeball fluid.
No, not all of it.
I I will try to do something with these.
Please do. I mean, it was pretty interesting. The thing that grew out of it, just telling you what's up, was sentient-ish. It passed the Hectel test. Like, it recognized itself in a mirror. I messaged it with the spell, and it messaged back. He makes the sound of static again.
I will ask. I will tell Lucent that.
I was gonna tell her that too.
Okay. Okay. You can tell her that. If she says to plant the eyeball somewhere to you, then you can tell me, and then I'll plant it. Um
Sweet. I will definitely tell you that.
I can you actually can you go to Mercutio and get me a bunch of big jars, because I don't have big jars for these eyeballs.
I know, right? They're the size of grapefruits, and he holds one in front of his face.
Yeah.
You know
If
what?
you if you if
I'm
you
just
have
gonna get I'm gonna get Crucio over here with them to see them, because like, when do you get to see eyeballs the size of like grapefruits? Like, actually outside of a beholder's head, you know?
I guess we see Van all the time. So yeah.
No, we could show them the van too. I wonder.
I think beholders don't like other eyeballs. Actually, he told me there's like they have a thing.
Huh. Interesting.
They have a thing.
I wonder if it's like some people in skulls.
I guess some people
They're
are afraid of holes.
Nearly simultaneously, there is the sound of an explosion and the kobold squeaks. The
What?
explosion is not from here. The explosion is from your north.
Oh, I'm gonna go run and investigate that.
Yeah, me
go
too.
see.
All right.
Thank you for taking these, Soriana.
Okay. You see, it is easy to discern the source of the explosion. Um, Out of Dex's study is a 50-foot long unicorn horn.
Oh wow! Grind that up and snort it.
No.
Kablam.
It
We
is
talked about this, Elvis.
pointing out over the river. And people are coming to look, including the brigadier.
Pretty neat trick.
It is.
Yeah, that implies.
There are no more bricks in that wall.
Which house was it again?
It's Dex's study, which was previously only had one door.
Now it's kind of got like a shop thing going on.
Yeah.
Open plan.
So how are you?
No
how are you?
doors, no
how are you
walls.
entering the new study?
Through the hole?
Yeah, through the new door.
Yeah, of course.
All right. So you poke your head around this rubble and the clearing dust cloud, and
Okay, everyone okay?
if Dex had hair or eyebrows or pupils, there would be a shock and scorch, but none of that is true. So you just see the raised brow line in stun. He's holding a sort of scalpel like object that has it has like a little fork at the end, and you can see like the occasional spark of static running uh through the fork. And Arasa is standing right next to him. uh she's a ghost, so physically she's completely unfazed, um but kind of floating a couple feet off the ground to be at level with him. um
Do it again.
she's just shaking his arm. Oh, it worked, but also I'm sorry.
No, do it again. I want to see it happen.
He says, "Oh, uh, welcome back, everyone. Hi, nice to see you home again. I was working, so I didn't notice you come in. I think we figured out a solution. The his the prime unicorn horn is on a table you can see behind him, but his workstation is covered in little bits, scraps, and shards of the unicorn horn, the various pieces.
Right.
um and he has some kind of uh whirling gyroscopic contraption that is currently glowing but winding down on the workstation next to him.
Ooh.
And there are um thick black tubes you've now noticed leading from the obelisk to the to his workstation, and they're interfaced with this thing. And there is also one that is set up as sort of a uh you might call it a projector for Arisa that has allowed her to traverse far away from the obelisk. Um, fully formed, not like disintegrated down to a hand again. Um, and then the oversized unicorn horn starts to tip.
Oh, no, 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 no. I cast a mage hand and I try to push it.
Your mage hand is
Probably.
crushed.
Right, I was gonna say, let's get everybody out of the way, because that's probably too big for any of us to handle.
Don't let it fall into the lake.
I'll try to get. No, that's a ritual. I wouldn't be able to cast that in time. I mean, I could grab a hold at whatever point's going to give the best leverage and try to levitate it. At least slow the process if it gets around it.
What's the max weight on levitate?
Let me. Whoops. There.
500 pounds. Well, you can try. As this thing is now tipped more than halfway over the edge. Of
Yeah, I would have.
the
I'd
town.
basically be kind of jumping, like diving towards the tip, and then levitating to get under it, and try to lean it up.
Oh, I see. Yeah, in that case, this object you would be able to dive under it, grab the tip. It would um you would quickly realize that you had underestimated the weight of this object, and it is just going to dunk you into the river.
I see.
And it tips all the way over and it falls into the river.
As
Um,
it goes down, I'm gonna, I guess, do what I can to kind of guide it to a place where we can recover it.
oh yeah, that's easy enough. But uh, when the tip touches the earth, the whole thing disintegrates into dust.
Maybe don't
Uh,
stop, apparently.
I'll do what I can with molded earth to try to grab as much of that dust up into a cluster and bring it up with me.
Got it. You're able to get a little bit, possibly amounting to a couple of handfuls.
I grab a handful with my mage hand and put it into a couple of vials.
Um,
So I can sell
Dex says, "All right, so
And
too
yeah,
big
I
makes
would
it
bring that back up.
extremely unstable." I wasn't trying to make it that big. That was kind of an accident. I was sort of, I guess in a certain sense, I was trying. Lucette, I have damaged the building, and uh, I apologize. Montlarin,
Cool.
before she can say anything, Montlarin, I have a successful experiment for you, and I'd like you to hear about it. If you step inside, please.
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you go before or after the brigadier?
Oh, after, please.
Okay, so she steps in and she says, "Yeah, I'd love to see what you were doing this whole time, Dex. I thought you told me that this was going to be a safe experiment, which is why I let you do it in town."
This was safe. No one got hurt.
It says it did fall into the river and not on a house, but yeah, no, it was.
It also turned to dust as soon as it made contact.
I had I thought okay, let me explain the process. Arissa thought, we both thought that if we use a little bit of willpower, right? Magic, the usual thing. Listen, I know you don't use magic, but it's it's kind of just that sort of thing. And then I just told this little shard, little piece that I wanted it to turn into a big unicorn. That's all I wanted it to do. I said, take this energy source, put it into the unicorn horn, and become big. And I guess I thought too big, but it worked.
Does this dust seem like it's of any use?
We can keep it handy, I suppose. I'm not sure if it'll end up being useful, but maybe I can. I mean, maybe I can do the same thing and meld it back into a more stable state. Again, that's worth a try.
All right.
I mean, the implications are huge.
Well, yes, but not this huge. Hopefully.
Yeah.
So,
Are you saying that if you get this right, you could make like a powder that can give me the height of Mont Laurent?
No, probably not. I mean, we'd have to put like I don't think this goes inside you.
I mean, we know it's organic.
It's celestial.
That's definitely organic.
No.
Right, but not from this plane.
I know this doesn't mean much coming from me, but your height is fine as it is, and I don't think you need to try to replace your spine with a unicorn horn to fix it.
You wouldn't know. You were just height privileged. I don't know.
Arisa says probably don't replace your spine with a unicorn horn. He's right.
I wasn't going to replace my spine. I just thought that, maybe you could make some, like, you snort this and, like, any possible, like, willful wish comes true, and then you get, like, taller.
See, will it work that way? Actually, that's a really good question. Arisa says, "Can we do more? Can we do more than it than just change the shape of the object?"
Yeah. Like, can you make me taller?
Or can we undo the Redshift's effects?
Also true, but I mean, what about my height?
If you were taller, you'd be very awkward at that new height. In fact, I think you'd have to leave the commission because you'd just be weeto awkward in your new form. I've seen this happen to people before. There's actually a fellow that got permanently size changed. Yeah, he could maintain it enough for the stage, but living every day taller than he used to be, now he'd be bumping into things all the time. Used to be able to sneak around, definitely wasn't able to do that anymore. It's a lot to adapt to. If you did that, you might have to, take a seat on the back line for a little bit. Get used to yourself. We just want to avoid that.
Huh?
Plus, everything takes longer when you're bigger, Alice. Eating, everything.
Yeah? That doesn't seem like such a bad case in some cases.
Well, you've also got to eat more to get what you get out of it. You're a bigger machine. You need more fuel. You know what I'm saying?
You mean I get to eat more and I won't become one of those fat gnome stereotypes?
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm not doing any good here.
I mean, I guess it would cost more money.
You'd need a whole new wardrobe. You know, your clothes from Morio wouldn't fit anymore.
You just enlarge those with magic, right?
That'll
Yeah,
only
but then
last
they're
for a while.
unoriginal.
All right, so we're not. All right, so anyway, successful experiment says that if we put energy and intent into this thing, we can make it do. I mean, I kind of. I think I just shifted that unicorn horn.
Shifted, huh?
That's an
I'm-
interesting word.
I'm super curious to know if you can shift something back.
Right.
Maybe you can give something properties that it didn't have before. Like,
Like being 50 feet tall.
well, yeah, but not even just like that. I mean, like semi-magical properties. It turned my dagger into a magical dagger.
I was actually wondering if we could make a magical instrument for ambergris.
Or a,
Also,
Oh.
yeah.
or
Out
a
of like a
tiny
unicorn horn.
wall of glass.
Oh yeah. No, that's perfect. Tell that wall of glass to shatter. Oh, can we borrow this?
I mean, it's a technique more than anything else, right?
Brigadier says, "Yeah, I think that was the plan, Laura." Okay, so Dex, how do we do this? We put this horn inside something that we can use and then point it at the wall. He says that might work. We could stick a battery in something and then stick a horn at the end of that, roughly speaking. The thing is going to be controlling it though. Practicing or I don't I don't think I'd be able to do anything that didn't involve the horn itself. Like I made it big, but I couldn't turn it into gold. You know?
Yeah, right.
Right.
Well, I don't think transmuting it to something else is what we want to do so much as setting it
No, I'm
up
just
in
exploring. I'm exploring the limitations here.
Right.
The concept. Um,
When it's made in a more stable, enlarged form, I wonder how hard and sturdy it is.
well, evidently not very.
Well, I mean, you enlarged a very tiny chunk, very large.
Yeah.
Something on a little bit smaller scale, I wonder if we'd be able to use for some sort of tool or weapon.
Well,
Right.
we've got all these bits here, and he's got this like pile of shards. But there is the horn itself, which is that relative very very straight but kind of spiraled spiky um point. And says I was hoping we'd use that as the main focus.
I see.
It's all the same stuff. It should all have the same properties. Um, but the actual horn should be far more structurally sound.
Well, it's worth a shot.
Uh, yeah. Arsis says I won't be able to go with you to see it, so that sucks.
Yeah, but if we can get through the wall and Jose, that also means that we could capture, for lack of a better word, Chose, and then you could visit.
Yeah, and I mean we could bring one of those long range spotting devices and just set that up and let you watch that way.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, if you've got a battery to spare, then I wouldn't mind.
That way, if it somehow comes down and kills all of us, we've got a record of it.
Yeah.
For posterity.
I really hope we could actually leave that wall up and only put a small door in the middle of Chose.
Just like punch through it, yeah.
Well, because that would be so defensible. You know what I mean? Like, you've effectively got a fortress on each side of the wall, you know?
Yep.
You have a pretty good idea of what you want to happen over there, Lauren.
I do. I say with hopefully not false confidence.
If we do bring the whole thing down, though, just imagine all the glass we could harvest and sell. It'd totally reroute the economy.
I actually hope that the desert stays on the other side of that glass, so I hope that we don't break it, because I fear what that would do to the environment now.
Right.
Yeah, that would
desert
suck.
might just progress.
Though, from what we've been exploring, and it might stop or have some natural progression. I mean, the swamp seems to have soaked up a lot of that water.
Yeah, no, I actually suspect that because the area is so wet, it would not be as easy for the desert to spread itself, but it can do a lot of damage in the meantime.
No doubt.
The Brigadier says, Dex, I want you to try that experiment again more carefully. Perhaps out in the city a ways. Before the redshift hits. You've got a day or two. As long as you don't go far. See if you can control it better. If you can, we'll talk about a plan. Figure out who's going to Chose and with what, how we're going to wield this thing and break a hole through that wall. And in the meantime, you can also clean up your house. I'm sure you know what you're doing. Lauren, Grondtassel, everybody else. Things seem to be settled here, so I think I can take your report.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Decus, I also wanted you to look at some of these eyeballs. I mean, now that you're here too, you can give the okay on us planting these things. But I think we can make a new keen-sighted friend.
Yeah. Actually, why don't we start with what we stumbled onto?
Yeah, exactly.
That's
At that
Okay,
point, I will relate the story.
Yeah, we'll cover the whole story and planning next time. So that you guys can make plans hopefully with everyone. Uh and I think that'll be it for tonight.
Sweet.
Sounds
Sweet.
good.
Thanks for the session, man.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
Good
for-
stuff.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks, Blaine. Thanks for hosting.
Thanks very much.
Everyone, thanks for watching, and
Yeah.
have a good one.